got it? Okay.
Are the cookies like...
Hello, everyone. Ready? Thank you, guys. See. Okay, guys, thank you for joining us for this regular school board meeting at Yucca Heights Elementary. I would like to go ahead and start this meeting with a roll call. Ms. Delgado, can you take a roll call, please?
Board President Lira,
Present.
Board Vice President Flores,
Present.
Board Secretary Rodriguez,
Present.
Board Member Guerrero,
Present.
Board Member Medrano.
Present.
Sir President, we have established quorum.
Thank you. Moving to item number 2, Pledge of Allegiance and the mission statement.
Good afternoon. I would like to call Ms. Aguilar, our principal here at Yucca Heights. We also want to thank you for the great hospitality and thank all your students for having us and escorting us to the library. They were really sweet and really cute, so thank you for that.
Good evening, Board President Lira, members of the board, and Acting Superintendent Tarazona. We are proud to have our student council members, Adesi Ramirez and Alexa Diaz, who will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance and the New Mexico flag salute in English, and Andrea Macias, who will lead the Pledge of Allegiance and the New Mexico flag salute in Spanish.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under one God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yo prometo lealtad a la bandera de los Estados Unidos de América y a la república que representa, una nación bajo Dios, entera, con libertad y justicia para todos.
I salute the flag of the state of New Mexico, the sea is symbol of perfect friendship among united cultures.
Saludo la bandera del Estado de Nuevo México, el símbolo CIA de amistad perfecta entre culturas unidas.
And now for our mission statement, Board Member Ms. Flores, can you go ahead and read the mission statement, please?
The Gadsden Independent School District will provide diverse educational opportunities that empower students to be successful in an ever-changing world. El Distrito Escolar Independiente de Gadsden brindará diversas oportunidades educativas que capacitarán a los estudiantes para tener éxito en un mundo cambiante.
Thank you, Ms. Flores. If anybody wishes to speak on our public comment section, could you guys fill out a yellow paper and turn it into Ms. Delgado, please? Thank you. Moving on to item 3A, Advanced Placement Honor Roll, Silver. Ms. Tarazona.
Mr. President Lira, Ms. Principal Suggs from Santa Teresa High School will present this item.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. The updates and presentation from our school. I'm sorry, from Yucca Heights. I'm sorry.
No,
Go ahead.
Okay, no worries. So I'd like to say thank you again and welcome, Board President Lira, members of the board, and Acting Superintendent Tarazona. On behalf of the Yucca Heights Elementary community, we welcome you. It's truly an honor to host today's board meeting. I would also like to extend a warm welcome to our district directors, principals, staff, and especially our families and community members. Thank you for being here and for your continued support for our students and our school. Next, we are excited to showcase the talents of our students with a musical performance led by our amazing music teacher, Mr. Abraham Uribe, who works tirelessly to inspire creativity and a love for music in our students. Thank you again for joining us today, and we hope you enjoy the performance. Thank you.
All Aboard the Dino Train by Deb Lund, illustrated by Howard Fine. They're loading up the dino train with coal and lumber, oil and grain, and high above the whistle's chord, ring dino shouts of, "All aboard!"
The dino stoker shovels up coal. The flames are under his control. The dino boiler builds up steam. Soon, pistons pump a rhythmic theme.
Farewell, the Dinos family cry. With cheers, the dinos wave goodbye. Adventures wait just on the track. We're off, they say, but we'll be right back.
The engine coughs and dino chugs. The train moves like a line of slugs. We haven't traveled very far. Let's dino push each railroad car.
"We think we can," the dinos say. "Our dynamite will save the day." The smokestack coughs out dino suit. Dino suit. They sweat from dino head to foot.
The hill's too steep for that much weight, and so they toss their dino fate. Without a load, they quickly climb and reach the peak in dino time.
A dark and narrow dino tunnel sucks and spits them through its funnel. Out they shoot and down they slide. A roller coaster dino ride.
They dino scream and squeal, "Yippee!" and wave their dino arms with glee. When the cars tip left or right, they lean way out and hang on tight.
"Oh no," the dino brakemen shout. "The train won't stop. The trestle's out." And as the bridge is growing near, their joy turns into dino fear.
They clamber up on and cling on top, unsure of how they dino stop. They dino duck and hide their eyes, but then they get a big surprise.
They dino rocket off the bridge while train cars fly from ridge to ridge. The train goes on without a crash. We're dino flying, then kersplash.
grown, how can it be? We thought this trip was water-free. What made us want to dino roam? Let's shake this lake and head back home.
They pile aboard a handcar there to seesaw back with Dino Flair. They Dino pump instead of chug and make it home for one big hug. Though Dino tie in that embrace, they still want to find Dino dreams to chase. We'll never take another train, but how about a Dino plane?
Well, thank you, Yucca Heights, for that amazing presentation. Let's go ahead and move on to item 3A, which is advanced placement honor roll silver.
And President Lira, Ms. Suggs from Santa Teresa High School will present this item.
Good evening, President Lira, board members, and Superintendent Tarazona. For this presentation, I have with me Ms. Cobos, who is our lead counselor when it comes to advanced placement, and Ms. Sarah Hudspeth, who is the teacher that leads this project. But before I give them the floor, I do want to say that I am very proud of these ladies. About 4 or 5 years ago, when I started at Santa Teresa High School, they both approached me about their vision when it comes to advanced placement. And all I said was, yeah, go ahead, do what you got to do. And I think it's hard to say no to teachers and educators that only want what's in the best interest of kids. And they are always looking for ways to give these kids the best opportunity for what is out there. But I also want to give a shout out to the ST students, because the teachers are the ones that teach them, but the kids are the ones that show up every day. They're the ones that show up to the test, and they're the ones that deserve all the credit. But I'll give the ladies the floor now.
Hello, good afternoon. Mrs. Cobos, I'm the AP coordinator for Santa Teresa High School and have been for a while now. I don't know, they could move the next slide. There we go. So exams qualifying for college credit. So as you can see, in 2021, we only had 36% kids that got a score of 3 or more. Once a student gets 3, 4, or 5, they get college credit on an AP exam. In 2021, we had 53 students that only got 3+. However, in 2024, we had 126, and then in 2025, which is our biggest growth, was 140. So that's 53% of our students that got a 3 or above. That means that we had approximately 53% students that are getting college credit. So that's an amazing gain for us at Santa Teresa High School. We also, and our numbers have a lot to do with all our AP exams, but we also have now AP Seminar and AP Research, which I know with those are very elite exams in the sense that if they take the AP Seminar, AP Research, and pass 5 AP exams, they graduate with a capstone diploma. So, which is an elite diploma, and they're all your top-notch colleges and universities are looking for that. So next year, some of our seniors will be getting a capstone diploma, and we're looking forward to that. So, I mean, I'm really happy for our school and Ms. Suggs for her support and our AP program and our students who are really, I mean, they really, really push themselves to do their AP exams. Thank you.
Hi, good evening. On this slide, you're going to see basically how the AP Silver, the AP Honor Roll is awarded, and it's based on 3 categories. The first being college culture. So what the college culture represents is that 58% of the graduating class of 2025 took at least one AP exam while they were in high school. The second category, which is the college credit category, represents, and this is the category where we've kind of shown the most growth, and that is 30% of the class of 2025 earned a 3 or better, which means that they earned college credit. They are qualified for college credit. Once they graduate, they can use that towards their degree. The final one is college optimization, and that 6% represents that 6% of the class of 2025 took 5 or more AP exams during their high school career. So we're super excited that they've, you know, for the past 3 years that they've shown up on the honor roll, and now they're getting silver. So on the next slide, you'll see that our AP community at Santa Teresa High School really extends far beyond the classroom. This recognition represents the work of our students, their hard work and their perseverance, and it's also the result of years of collaboration among our teachers, administrators, and our AP coordinator. In 2021, we came together as a team, and we realized that there are some things that we wanted to improve with our AP program. And we worked together, we built an action plan, and we shifted our work to kind of more effectively support student achievement. So for the past 5 years, we've worked together to build a program that challenges students to take AP courses, but not just for the opportunity to earn college credit, but to better align with our school mission to educate today's students for tomorrow's world. We want students to understand that while college is not the only path to success, it is a path that is possible for them if they choose it. AP classes do expose students to college level expectations and help them see that this level of work is achievable. As you can see on this slide, we continue to find ways to support students beyond the 4 walls of the classroom. We recognize students with STHS AP gear, like our Warriors of Wisdom shirts. We promote AP engagement through our Instagram, like AP Questions of the Week, and we give them fun prizes when they answer questions correctly. And we do display a current list of students who have earned college credit in our main hallway. This year, we also had some groups of like senior and junior students who've taken AP courses go to our freshman high school orientation and health classes to promote advanced placement in those classes and encourage students to enroll and challenge themselves and take an AP class while they're still in high school. All of these efforts have really helped us support the AP culture that we work to promote at STHS. And overall, this recognition, this AP Honor Roll recognition, is meaningful for our students because it reinforces that there is really not a profile for a single AP student. All of our students are AP students. It's not just, you know, one certain type of student. And throughout this journey, we've held the belief, one belief at the center of our work, and that is that students can and will rise to the expectations we set. And when those expectations are high, our students not only meet them, but they do exceed them. So thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you. Now moving on to item 3B, Chaparral Middle School Seminar, Gifted Enrichment.
President Lita, Principal William from Chaparral Middle School will present this item.
Good evening, President Lita, members of the board, Acting Superintendent Dempsey. Tarazona, sorry. It is my pleasure to introduce Dr. Acosta, a dedicated educator who has been a valued member of the Chaparral Middle School community for several years. Throughout his time with us, he has served in many different capacities, consistently demonstrating his commitment to students, staff, and families. In his role as our gifted liaison, Dr. Acosta supports both teachers and students by helping to design enriched learning experiences that challenge and inspires our gifted learners. His work fosters creativity, critical thinking, and academic growth across our campus. This evening, he will be sharing some of the innovative work he does, along with examples of the remarkable learning experiences our students engage in under his guidance. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Acosta, who will introduce a couple of our gifted students as well.
Thank you, Ms. Williams, for that introduction. How do I start? First, I want to recognize a few people, okay? I would like Ms. Williams to stand. Cheryl Coyle and Ms. Rodriguez. This doesn't happen by itself. With the policies and the initiatives that the school board gives, it trickles down. There's a lot of people involved in making sure that our gifted students receive the instruction that they need. And I want to say thank you, because they are in the trenches. They're fighting for our kids here in the Gadsden district. So thank you for all that you do. Thank you. Now we're talking about opportunity. We're talking about finding areas where we can ignite a kid's imagination, in which we can have them love learning. And what is the best way is to have them explore things that they love to do. So in the gifted program, which I might add is growing. The Gadsden district is starting to identify many more kids than we did before. They've revamped the whole system so that we don't leave a kid behind. And they've created new policies, new instruments, so that we can identify our gifted students, not just at the middle school level, but at the elementary and the high school level. And that's important, because we're talking about kids who have artistic abilities, they're creative, they have general aptitude in mathematics and science, in English. They come from all walks of life, and they have all different areas of giftedness. And I'm lucky enough to have all of them in one class. So thank you, Ms. Williams, for making that happen. Okay. Now, we started this back in 2012 with Ms. Moella, and then Ms. Hernandez picked it up, and she added one more caveat, because a lot of our gifted students, because they didn't feel like they were being challenged, you would get into trouble. So sometimes I would have them for at risk, and I would also have them for giftedness. So we had two classes then. And then Ms. Williams, she helped embed it into her schedule. So now we have a designated gifted class for only gifted students. And it's for the 7th and 8th grade. And I'd like to welcome 3 of my gifted students, Moises, Aid, and Venus. Now, one of the things that you'll know is one of the things that Cheryl has brought in is the gifted clusters. And these are cluster areas in which we work with the kids so that they can explore what they have the most desire to enjoy. I mean, a lot of them make their own curriculum, and we go on those rabbit trails that they want to learn. Next slide. And here is the model that we use If you notice, it covers all the areas of giftedness. And here's a couple of pictures of our kids just working with drones and working in a workshop that Miss Williams helped us. She actually cleaned out the room, helped us set it up, and we were able to create a workshop for our students there at Chaparral Middle School. Oh, we're missing some pictures here. They didn't come out? Okay, so let's go to the next slide. Okay, so it's all about differentiation. It's all about finding different ways of teaching. We do pathways to careers, in which we start them out at the elementary level, middle school level, and then high school, and then we take that path into how many credits they need for high school, what the ACT, SATs they need, the ASVAB scores, and we're talking about 7th and 8th grade students. And then we look into their college, what college they want to go into, and we look at their course catalog, what credits they need, and then we talk about financial aid, how are they going to pay for it? And then what are they going to, if they do decide to go to UT Austin or UCLA, what are they going to, how are they going to pay for it? So we look at how they're going to pay for that college. Next slide. Okay, gentlemen.
One of the most prominent tasks we've completed in Gifted Seminar course is Pathway to Careers. Pathway to Careers has allowed us to explore and experience a lot of different careers. Using this, we've experienced a lot of careers, which has helped us for our future to decide what career we would want to pursue. For example, I would like to be an aerospace engineer.
I would like to be a chemical engineer.
And I would like to be an NICU nurse.
This is Kira Maldonado. She is one of the old gifted students. What she had to say about the gifted experience was that she's been introduced to a wide range of job opportunities, and that the AP style essays can help them learn to be prepared more for college, universities, and just writing more, like, just to prepare, yeah.
Another benefit of the Gifted Seminar class is field trips. Last year, we went to 2 field trips. The Reynosa field trip, we had a drone competition which we did not win, but we had a lot of fun in. We also went to Carlsbad Caverns, which was also a lot of fun.
This is Alex Muniz, also one of the old gifted students. He said about the gifted class that the environment is really supportive, that people get them. There's quiet, loud, and people who get distracted easily. The assignments are random, but it varies from leadership to career planning to poems and games. But it's an excellent class.
Are the cookies that you buy just not flavorful enough? Well, then we have the right thing for you. Short dough. Short dough is a great tasting, crispy, and buttery shortbread cookie that goes well at any event, or just to enjoy on the couch by yourself. Short dough can be found in stores now, so buy them before they're gone. You can also buy them when you call the number 123-456-7890. And when you call to order, you can get your first box free and your second half off. Short dough, the goodest cookie.
Last year, we attended the Macalero drone competition. In this competition, we learned a lot about leadership and teamwork. We managed to place first place out of the district.
One thing about the gifted program is these kids get each other. A lot of times, you know, we're talking about 85% of them suffer from social and emotional issues. Anxiety and perfectionism is something that we have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. And unfortunately, they have a 35% dropout rate and a 79% drug abuse rate. So it's great that we get them at a young age, and we get them in a classroom in which they can laugh and have fun with each other. And I'd like to introduce you to Emily. She was one of my students there in the gifted program, and she has a video to show you.
My name is Emily Smolik, and I struggle with my mental health. Here's my story. I was submitted into an outpatient program, and I was diagnosed with depression, anxiety, and OCD. My biggest issue when I was a kid was reaching out for help. I never knew how to reach out for help and ask somebody to help me. Getting help was the best thing that I ever did, and I feel so much better after getting help. Coping with anxieties and depression and anything sad happening in my life is probably another one of my biggest struggles. I struggled to find things that made me happy. I struggled to find things that kept me happy, but that's when I introduced myself to writing. I am a very big writer, and I write poetry. My advice for anyone who is struggling is to get help. It may be scary, you may not want to reach out, you may think, well, what if they don't want to help me? There is lifelines you can call, there is numbers you can text, and in CMS, I am someone that you can always go to for help, and I will always be here no matter what because I know what it feels like to struggle, and I do not want anyone else to feel like that.
This is an example of an assignment we completed last year, where through the help of Pathway to Careers, we found our dream career. After this, we asked ChatGPT to generate us an image using our photo, where we graduated from our dream college with our dream career.
In this video was produced by this year's 7th graders.
Yo, look, bro.
Seminar is more than just a class. It's a place where you can be yourself. It's a space where you can share your ideas, have real conversations, and not feel judged or seen as weird. Everyone gets a voice, and you learn how to listen to others while expressing your own thoughts. One of the best parts about seminar is how creative the assignments are. Instead of just doing normal schoolwork, we work on projects about inventions, ways to help the world, and exploring different careers. We get hands-on experiences like flying drones, writing movie scripts, and creating presentations.
Where are you going?
What
Where are you going?
What the skibidi? Is that a thing?
I'm sorry!
We also learn important skills like writing in APA format, which helps prepare us for high school and college. Seminar teaches us how to think creatively, work together, and grow as students.
I'd be good for a background character.
What's good?
It's a class where learning is fun, ideas matter, and everyone belongs.
I just want to say that I did not know they were playing games or using ChatGPT. Okay, let me just put that out there right now. But no, I just want to say thank you because a lot of people are involved. A lot of the drone program, it comes from our technical department down at the district. They provide us computers and laptops for us to use. So there's a lot of people involved in helping these students reach their possibility. Their opportunities and their possibilities, okay? So thank you, and thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Doctor. Amazing presentation. Moving on to item 3C, parent communication remind, social media analytics.
President Lira, Mr. Carmona will present this item.
Good evening, President Lira, members of the board, Superintendent Tarazona. I bring before you our customary metrics on social media and messaging. As you can see, the number 30,430 is a little bit of a dip, but if we go to the next slide, it'll become apparent why. We're still looking at data from our Christmas break, but we are holding steady around at the same level as we typically are at about almost 400 senders per week. Our social media trends are sort of plateauing, but that has a lot to do with the Christmas break and sort of some inactivity in and around our schools. Our follows are increasing at a steady rate. We also have some unfollows, which are expected, but the net follows are 45, so we win some and we lose some. Next slide, please. The next few slides are going to show you some metrics on our transition from Remind. As I've brought before the board, this semester is dedicated to sort of an overlap. We still have Remind, but we also already have messaging capability with Parent Square. So at the end of this school year, Remind will go away, and we will be switching over to Parent Square. So my department has been focusing on the communication piece with teachers, so we developed this survey just to start polling. At the time of the preparation of this slide, we only had 100 and some respondents. We're now up in beyond 300 teachers, and typically we have about 800 teachers in the school district, just so you can sort of gauge the participation rate. And there you see the metrics as far as their current usage of Remind. And as we know, just from looking at the sender rates, this really does jive with what we know about how many teachers are using Remind. So the next slide, please. The next question, just ask them, how ready do you feel? Or no, this one is, what would be the best way to train you on the upcoming transition? And the number one choice is a gradual rollout. And then they really do want clear expectations as far as what we expect from them with using Parent Square. And then now it's the comfort level, which is something I was very interested to know. As you can see, there are some people who are feeling a little bit neutral, which is to be expected. That's our biggest group. But I was proud to see that they're generally comfortable with change. Because a shift is going to happen. We're starting with Remind, and then next year we're moving from our student information system, which Ms. Bernholt will be presenting here in a moment. So there was two purposes for this survey. One was to really gather some information that would help me roll out the learning that needs to happen, but it also creates, as we did in the classroom, an anticipation guide. It really hopefully builds that need to know for teachers so they can anticipate and know, first off, that there is going to be a change. And I really would like eventually start looking at maybe some regulation as far as really asking our teachers to not use personal devices in communicating with students. Remind offers great protections and a nice log and an archive of the conversations that really protects our teachers. So that's something I would like to do in the future. And I believe that's the last slide. Yeah. Thank you. I stand before you for any questions if you have any.
Questions? Mr. Carmona, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Moving on to item 3D, student activities, student representative.
President Lira, we have Caleb Elisario here. He is a junior from Chaparral High School.
Good evening, Mr. President, members of the board, intern superintendent Tarazona, and guests. My name is Caleb Elisario, and I am the junior representative from Chaparral High School. To begin, I will highlight some of our student and athletic achievements. I would like to congratulate our CHS wrestling team on their recent accomplishments. At the Ruidoso tournament, Kimberly Perez placed first, Alicia Ponce placed third, and Hannah Aguilar placed fourth. At the Bowie tournament, Kimberly Perez placed second, Kimberly de la Torres placed third, and Alicia Ponce placed sixth. On the boys' side, Jules May placed fourth, while Sebastian Ramirez and Ismael Mendez both placed fifth. Congratulations as well to Mr. Ontiveros, who has been named our new head baseball coach. Next, I will go over STEM highlights, academic and STEM highlights. Our STEM outreach after-school program restarted this week and continues to provide students with meaningful opportunities beyond the school day. We also congratulate Mr. Ornelas and his aerial competition team. Competing against 24 teams in the southeastern region, the team advanced to the quarterfinals, and ranked first in the district and first among all competing high schools, including one from Dallas, Texas. Christian Hernandez and Esli Maldonado represented CHS with an outstanding performance. In addition, I would like to recognize our fine arts students. Congratulations to Alex de la Cruz, Evelyn Montejano, Nick Rodriguez, and Megan Soto for earning seats in the New Mexico All-State Band. Alex and Evelyn are returning members, and all 4 students competed statewide and are considered among the top 4A band students in New Mexico. Finally, I would like to share some upcoming events and opportunities. Chaparral High School is currently in the planning stages for our annual Easter egg hunt, a long-standing event that supports students' engagement and community involvement. Last year, the event welcomed over 1,500 community members. This year, we are partnering with the National Honor Society to collect plastic eggs with a goal of 4,000 donations. Donations may be turned into CHS front office, and we appreciate the board's support in helping make this event successful. Thank you to Mrs. Flores for attending last year's event, and thank you to the board for your continued support of our students and school community. Additionally, 30 students across the district have been selected to attend the New Mexico legislative session in Santa Fe, including 10 students from Chaparral High School. This experience provides students with valuable exposure to the legislative process, civic leadership, and public service. Thank you for supporting this meaningful opportunity for student leadership and real-world learning. Lastly, I apologize. On Friday, January 23rd, Chaparral High School will host Santa Teresa High School for a wrestling dual meet here at CHS. This event will also serve as senior night, recognizing our senior wrestlers for their dedication and commitment. Lastly, on Monday, January 26th, Chaparral High School will host Hatch High School for a girls' basketball game, which will also serve as senior night. Thank you for your time and attention.
Caleb, thank you. Moving on to board members' report. Board member Medrano.
Well, my report is this is very exciting for me. It's a new job, it's the way I see it, but I see students in a different light now. Before I was up there telling them how to do their math, and now I'm here to try to help them in any way I can, to provide any programs that will be beneficial to every school in our district. And that's my goal, to help every student in the district in any way possible.
Ms. Medrano, thank you. Now moving on to board member Ms. Guerrero.
Hi, good evening. First of all, thank you to Ms. Aguilar for hosting us here. That was an amazing presentation that they put on for the children. I'm going to remember the Dino Train singing it, so I really enjoyed that. Thank you to Dr. Acosta. I think that gifted program is super awesome, Ms. Williams. That's amazing. It's really nice to see, you know, when we take these children and really play to their, you know, their successes, what they have to offer. So that's super awesome. I love to see it. Also to Santa Teresa and the AP program. I am totally behind the AP program. I was an AP student. So I say take all the AP classes we can. Anything we can add to us. Caleb, thank you for your presentation. I hope you will be one of the children going for the legislative session. I think that's a super awesome experience. I did get to experience it before, being in the roundhouse and seeing everything. It's super cool, so I hope you soak it all in. I know, Mr. Beach, we have All-State coming up, so good luck to all your All-State choir students. I know they're going out, so good luck to them. What else did I have? And I think that's all.
Ms. Guerrero, thank you. Moving on to board secretary. Well, I'm sorry, one more comment.
I know, I'm sorry. I want to say congratulations to Mr. Carmona. I know, shout out to you for your success that you're having, so congratulations, Mr. Carmona. Also, if you have not signed up for the Desert View Autism Dash on April 18th, I do encourage all families to go out there for that Autism Dash. I hope to see a lot of families out there, you know, taking your children and joining that. I'm a stand behind that project, so hopefully we can see a lot of you out there.
Thank you, board member Guerrero. Now moving on to board secretary, Ms. Claudia Rodriguez.
Thank you, President Lira. Well, I want to say thank you for that wonderful welcome. I really enjoyed the kids being out there. At one point, I felt like royalty, which was great. And then the young lady that was walking with me, you know, she said, you have the opportunity to go. I mean, just wonderful the way she was expressing herself. And then we're walking and we're talking all the way. I kept going and she kind of just looked at me and she says, ma'am, like, get back. She didn't tell me that, but, you know, so it was wonderful. Thank you. I really, really appreciated that. Congratulations to all the students that participated at the spelling bee yesterday. I wasn't able to be physically there, but I did see it online, and it's great to see the kids. And some of those words, even I was like, okay, maybe let's see if I can spell them. I was on my way to Las Cruces for a funeral, but I was listening in, and it's great. So congratulations to the winners, and actually congratulations to everyone that participated. You know, they're winners already. I know that coffee with the interim superintendent happened as well. And please, parents, as I've always said, you know, participate. That's the way to keep informed of what's happening within the district. And it's a great opportunity. If you have any questions, you can bring them up. And of course, whenever there's the coffee with the principal at your student's campus, make sure that you participate there too, because that's, you know, that's where your children go, so you're gonna get more information on that. I do also want to encourage students to join the after-school programs. I know that there's a bunch of programs out there. You know, I'm very excited about one that I just recently saw, and regarding the aviation and with the drones. So please, I know it might sound a little bit scary, but it's going to be something that's going to be a benefit to you all students for the future. I wish those existed when I was around, when I was in high school, but of course not. But that's just been a few years ago. And as for the gifted, that really hits home. And I think that, you know, listening to all the great things that Mr. Acosta mentioned, I wrote a few words, you know, inspire, opportunity, ignite imagination, explore what they love. I really feel that many times, as one of the young ladies stated, right, they go through so much because they're misunderstood. And so it's important for people and teachers to understand that instruction has to be differentiated. Students, they just have a different way of learning, and they're ahead of the game many times, and that's where they become a little bit of a problem. So we think that they're a problem, but the reality is that their mind is just going 100 miles an hour, and so they just have to have something to keep them interested. And I think that having programs such as the seminar, it's something that they truly need, and we're going to avoid those. I know statistics show that many of the students, end up, or not the students, but gifted people or students end up in jails. Why? Because they're misunderstood. They're just not given what they need. And so let's continue with that push. I know that, having that, the case study is something that really helped identify those students that many times were not acknowledged or because they didn't pass the exam. But it's not so much about that. They could be very, very good at one thing, and then with another, they just don't understand. So let's continue that. Our students deserve that. And above all, there's many great things happening within our district. So let's continue with that momentum and continue supporting in any way that we can. Going back to the after-school program, one of the things, fellow board members, I asked about the drones. Right now, it's being offered for middle school and high school, but I really believe that even the little ones could benefit from that. And getting them started at a young age will definitely push them to get motivated and do more, right? So let's just food for thought. Maybe we need to start looking into how we can support that. Thank you.
Thank you, Board Member Rodriguez. Moving on to Board Vice President, Ms. Laura Salazar Flores.
Good afternoon, buenas tardes. Muchas gracias por acompañarnos esta tarde aquí en Chaparral. Miro aquí gente de Chaparral y los quiero mucho. Y bienvenidos. I'd like to thank everybody who joined us in person and those of you who are viewing us online. I love Chaparral. I will be here as long as I can living in Chaparral, my community. I'd like to also thank Principal Aguilar and Assistant Principal Stern. Thank you for your hospitality. I did not get to eat the flautas, but I am going to enjoy them. And Claudia, I did get a to-go for you, okay? So it's waiting in the library. Thank you so much for your hospitality. Also, it's exciting to hear that we are expanding our gifted program. That I do believe that there's many children that have gone unidentified. And so, that's awesome that we're doing that. It's not to brag. I don't know that I've ever said this, but I was identified as a gifted student in the Isleta Independent School District, and the opportunities that I had, I don't remember what the other opportunities were, but I chose to learn Spanish, and that was the enrichment class that I chose. So the opportunities that we have for our kids nowadays are awesome, and that's absolutely right what Claudia said, that many times those of us who are gifted are many times often misunderstood, and so think about that, okay? And I think you are gifted. But
I'm misunderstood.
Está bien. So there's adults that were never, identified as gifted. So that's awesome. That we're doing a better job doing that, ¿verdad? I also want to take the moment also. I finally got the chance to read the article on Mr. Carmona. And so I do want to take the time to congratulate him. And so congratulations to Mr. Carmona on this well-deserved honor being selected for the Kellogg, should I say, Foundation Community Leadership Network is a testament to his leadership and commitment to our community. I look forward to learning from his experience throughout this fellowship and to hearing how those insights will be shared with the board and applied our district to strengthen systems and improve outcomes for our students. So congratulations to him. And I don't want to repeat what my fellow colleagues said, but congratulations. Our district is obviously a shining star in Southern New Mexico. Thank you to our administrators. And yes, like Dr. Acosta said, It's about not I, but about we. We are a wonderful team here in Gadsden Independent School District, and we need to continue to help each other. And the only other thing that I wanted to say was the young people that presented to us this evening. Guys, I believe that believing is speaking. So instead of saying, I would like to graduate, you need to say, I will become so-and-so. Whatever the dream that you is. And this weekend, I engaged in something that taught me that you don't give up on your dream, you pursue it, the doors will open at the right time. So never give up on your dreams, okay? And that concludes my report.
Report by President, thank you. Now for my report as well, Ms. Aguilar and Ms. Stern, I would like to thank you ladies for the welcoming. I did feel like a rock star walking inside. I see a kid all dressed up. I'm like, hey, you look sharp. Thank you. I'm going to walk you. I'm like, where? And then I walk inside and I see everybody lined up. And all of the kids made us feel very special. And then I kept walking. And then I saw, I don't know if anybody else noticed, but we were on all the TVs. Yeah, there we were. I'm like, hey. And then I snap a picture of it. I'm like, hey, I'm there. I'm famous. So thank you guys for that. The food was amazing. So thank you for your staff and the hospitality. It's amazing. I do thanking my colleagues for putting me in this position. I've been exposed to more events, so I attended the spelling bee yesterday. So I was able to be there in person, Ms. Rodriguez, and it was really good. So it was amazing to see these kids, how prepared they are, and getting to learn more about them, how they compete. It's amazing. So it was an awesome experience. The spelling bee as well for the gifted program. That's amazing. That's what I always push for. These kids need to get exposed to different experiences, and they need to know that there's other things that are available for them rather than what their immediate reality is. So, Doctor, thank you for what you do, and for Ms. Sutz as well for the AP program. They get pushed into these opportunities that if it wasn't for you guys, possibly they would have taken other routes. So I do want to thank you guys for that. I do want to go ahead and piggyback on what Mr. Caleb said. We are going to go ahead and take 50 kids to the session up there. So thanks to a partner that we're starting a relationship with, we're able to go ahead and provide these experiences to these kids. So we've been talking with Acting Superintendent Tarazona to put this trip together, go to the legislature so they know how the House works. They're gonna be able to meet legislators. We're gonna go ahead and I'm working, and hopefully they're looking. Our partners are looking to this message, and we're trying to get them to Meowville for a day, just for experiences, having a nice dinner with them. So all of these kids are gonna be able to have an experience that is memorable for them. And we'll go ahead and give you guys an update once that happens. And like I said, I mean, all of this, we shine because of you guys. And a small example is, is last year I was all lost on the agenda, but look, Ms. Delgado did clip notes for me. So if I'm shining, it's because of people like you guys. So that I won't get lost. I just have to follow it, and I look like a star. But it's not me, it's you guys. So thank you guys for what you guys do, and that concludes my report. Yes, I'm sorry, and Ms. Flores is gonna go again.
I apologize, President Lira. I did leave something else that's very important. Just wanted to remind Chaparral, but also all of Gadsden, because there's going to be opportunities. I did post it on my Facebook page. So the current Sheriff Stewart is going to be having some community engagement meetings for Chaparral. It's going to take place this Saturday, the 24th, from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. in the Lotus Wright Center. For all those, I'm addressing the parents that had concerns regarding school resource officers here in the community of Chaparral, but also in other unincorporated areas in Gadsden. It is our opportunity to meet with Sheriff Stewart. She's not just going to be in Chaparral, she'll be in other places, but it's our moment. I know she's on her way out, but she wants, from what it sounds in the article, she wants to be able to present to the next sheriff, the concerns, the questions, what the community of Doña Ana is asking. So it is opportunity, especially here, I represent Chaparral, for us to come out on Saturday and let her know, what we would like as far as school resource officer. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. And on my to finish my report, last but not least, Mr. Carmona, thank you for going above and beyond and bringing your expertise and whatever you learn on as your fellowship to our students and to our school. Thank you, Mr. Carmona. Moving on to item 5, Equity Council report.
President Lita, there is no current Equity Council report. Just a reminder that the next Equity Council meeting will be held on Tuesday, January 27th at North Valley Community Center at 9:30 a.m.
Thank you. Item 6, Superintendent report on community outreach, including to underrepresented and non-English speaking families.
Ms. Villalobos will present this item.
Good afternoon, President Lira, members of the board, Superintendent Tarazona. We don't have a report or presentation, just share with you something really great that happened today in Chaparral. We have been working for a couple of months to finally have this partnership with the dental school from El Paso. So we had today at Chaparral High School, we have the students that are on their 4th grade. They're gonna be, on June, they're gonna be dentists. They came and provide services to our kids from kinder, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd grade from the elementaries here in Chaparral. So it was like a very intense morning, but we did it, we make it happen. The parents had the consents. The students from the dental school were able to serve 120 of our kids. It was great. This is just the beginning of a great partnership because we're gonna see, it was a lot of logistics today, and this is working, what are we missing? And it was like trying to figure out how to do this work better. Thanks to the social workers and the parent ambassadors, this happened in a very organized and very smooth way. Even the culinary art departments from Chaparral High School, they were so kind, so generous, because they saw social workers were at the schools this morning since 6:45 in the morning with the freezing cold, trying to wait for the parents that haven't signed the consent forms. So it has been very intense, so they even give them, they have some food for them, they gave us coffee and everything. So it was really good, it was a great partnership. We're gonna be sharing the pictures with Mr. Carmona so that everybody can see them. And the way this partnership is gonna happen, what they did today was just kind of like a screening of our students. And from those 120 kids, seems like 40% of our students need real services. And now we're gonna work, I'm working directly with the dean of this dental school. They're gonna give us 2 or 3 days, they're gonna see, because they're gonna analyze now what kind of services and all that stuff that we don't know. And then we're gonna be they're gonna provide free services for all our kids on anything they need dental at the clinic in El Paso. So we're gonna have to work first with the parents and explain to them, your kid needs all these, because they find a couple of kids with really serious issues like abscess and things like that. So we have to work, social workers are gonna be leading this, Ms. Debbie Olguin is gonna be leading this, and Ms. Genevieve Melendez, both of them are gonna be leading this effort, so that we can organize and transport the kids, like social workers getting a Suburban with 4 or 5 kids and take them to get the services in El Paso. But the parents can come with us, or the parents can transport them themselves if they want, or they can come with us to see the services. But our kids are gonna be serviced and they're gonna have everything for free. Doesn't matter insurance, doesn't matter anything. So was very thankful with the dental school from El Paso, and I think that's an amazing opportunity and the beginning of a great partnership for our kids. So, okay.
That is amazing.
Yes, it's really good. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Villalobos.
Moving on to item 7, Union President report to board. No.
I don't see Ms. Nanez in the audience, Mr. Lira. There's no report for this item.
Moving on to item 8, Human Resource report. Human Resource report is for public information only. Moving on to item 9, modification of agenda. Do I hear a motion?
President Leader, I'd like to make a motion that we accept the agenda as is.
Okay. The what? Ms. Laura Salazar Flores made a motion to accept the agenda as is. No? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. Motion passes. Item 10, regular school board minutes for January 8th, 2026. Do I hear a motion?
President Lira, I would like to make a motion to accept the regular school board minutes for January 8th.
Board Secretary Rodriguez has made a motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. All opposed? Moving on to item 11, consent agenda. Do I hear a motion for the consent agenda? Questions, concerns?
President Lida, I just wanted to make a comment since a lot of this is budget is, like I was mentioning regarding SROs, is looking into the possibility in next year's budget to see if we can budget, again, SROs for the unincorporated areas of Gadsden. Thank you.
Okay. So do I hear a motion?
President Lida, I'd like to make a motion that we accept the consent agenda as is.
Board President Ms. Flores has made a motion. All in favor?
Aye.
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 All against? Motion carries. Now moving on to item 12, open forum. Ms. Delgado.
Sir President, we do have open forum tonight.
Okay, the board discourages personal attacks upon staff personnel or any other personnel in attendance or absence by individuals who address the board. Any person making public comments shall solely be responsible for the content of his or her comments. The board neither adopts nor assumes responsibility for any comments made by individuals during public comment. Presenters are cautioned that statements or representations concerning others are false and damaging to a person's reputation may be subject to presenter to a civil action for defamation. The board prohibits personal threats and use of obscenity such as speech not protected and will not be permitted. The board further prohibits disruptive conduct. Disruptive conduct will not be tolerated. Any evaluations may result in the removal from the premises. And can we have Ms. Margie Bryant?
Good evening, President Lira and Chairman Tarazona, and distinguished board members Rodriguez, Flores, Guerrero, and Medrano. Medrano, we welcome you as our constituents for the entire district of Gadsden to the school board. Thank you.
Thank you.
At this time, I would like to extend my appreciation to the previous board and the existing board. I appreciate the fact that you took the time, we'll start off with Ms. Guerrero. You took the time off on a hot day to listen to your constituents at the Berino Ballpark with an umbrella over your head. It was a very hot day, but you stood there, you stayed there, you listened to what we had to say, and we truly appreciate the fact that you took our concerns to heart and you were there to support us. I would also like to extend my appreciation from my constituents in Berino. Laura Salazar Flores, you were amazing. You took 4 hours of your Sunday afternoon to tour our town and see for yourself exactly what the town was facing, why we were so adamant that we wanted to resolve an issue, and we appreciate you for doing that. For the rest of you board members, Lira, Rodriguez, thank you so mumuch for taking time to listen to all the constituents. And when we left messages, you returned our phone calls in a timely manner. That is truly appreciated. I do want to remind the board that at some time and point, you all vote as one. So I encourage the board members to, at one time or another, come out and see the other districts, see what's going on with the other districts. I think it's important, and I thank you all for that. My next thing that I would like to address is that I would like to know if the Gadsden district has a school advisory committee. Some of these constituents would like to know if they could be participating in an open session where we could ask questions for the candidates that are seeking superintendent for this district. We feel that maybe we should have a part in this, but we'll leave it up to the board and to y'all to decide where we could possibly have a way to interact and hear and ask questions to the candidates that are coming in. I fully want to express my gratitude. You all have been amazing. I hope that, Madrano, we can work with you in the same way. It's always a privilege to have an open communication, because once you have that open communication and we speak with the respect and we take time to voice our concerns, that opens up the dialogue for a whole lot of things. And I thank you so much for giving me this time. Thank you.
Ms. Bryan, thank you. That's it. And that is it for our public comment. Moving on to 13 action items. Action item A, reschedule February 12, 2026 regular school board meeting.
Mr. Lira, I am requesting that we reschedule the school board meeting to Tuesday, February 10, 2026, due to a conflict meeting at the New Mexico State Capitol. As you heard, it's Legislative Day. In addition to that, we have Bilingual Day on the 12th. We have 2 schools from our district being recognized for their dual language program, Riverside and Desert Trail. And we are also receiving, we are also speaking on behalf of GISD in the Broadband Project. So we are requesting that we reschedule the meeting from Thursday, February 12th to Tuesday, February 10th.
Discussion, questions or concerns? Does that day work for all of us?
Just to be clear, President Lida, I will not be in attendance for that meeting. I will be out of town. Just so you all know.
Perfect.
No, could we possibly consider another day that would work for you? Are you okay with this, proceeding with the meeting on the 10th?
I will just be out of town that week of February. So if something else does work later, I mean, we can, if that's possible, but I'm okay with you proceeding with the meeting without me.
Okay,
President-
go ahead.
I'm sorry, President Lira, just keeping in mind that the first week we'll be doing having the Board Institute in Santa Fe. So, and then the following week would be the only other, well, actually, would be the other option, but then on the 26th, we do have one scheduled already. So basically, the 10th is right here. That's our only week, because then the next one, it would be just right before the next one, the next board meeting that is already scheduled. So I think that we can proceed. I would like to make a motion to accept action item 13A to reschedule the February 12th regular school board meeting to Tuesday, February 10th.
Board member Rodriguez has made a motion to accept the meeting for February 10th. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All against? Motion passes. Moving on to item 13B, a typographical error for April 9th regular school board meeting. Ms. Tarazona?
Mr. Lira, there was a typographical error identified in the posted schedule for the Thursday, April 9th, 2026 regular meeting. The correct meeting date is actually Tuesday, April 7, 2026.
Any discussion on this? As I
Do-
hear, go ahead.
Sorry, President Lira. That doesn't, there's no conflict with the region meeting?
I believe that's why we moved it, because we leave April. We go to the National School Board Association on April 10th, so we're probably leaving on April 9th. Secretary Rodriguez. So that's why the meeting was scheduled for Tuesday, April 7th.
But when is the region meeting scheduled? Is it?
The 9th through the 11th, through the 12th. Oh,
No,
the
no,
regional
the
meeting.
region one.
True.
I don't know. I just wanted to conflict with that one.
I didn't see it on the website that they've determined a date yet. All they have is to be determined.
All right, so then at this point, I don't think it would be a problem if we proceed with that. Should it be that day, then we'll have to discuss that again.
Do I hear a motion to accept the change of the date for item B?
President Lira, I'd like to make a motion that we accept the moving of April 9th to April 7th.
There has been a motion by Board Member Guerrero. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All against? Motion carries. Moving on to item 13C, the 2026-2027 school year calendar selection.
President Lira, Ms. Margie Bergholt will present this item.
President Lira, members of the board, Interim Superintendent Tarazona. Tonight I am presenting the 2026-27 school year calendar selection for board action. If you recall, there were 3 options provided. We're going to review them just a little bit. The option A and B, the primary difference was the week of fall break. Mr. Snowdy? This is option A. It put the fall break on the first week of October, which aligns with Las Cruces Public Schools, which I'm going to explain why that is important throughout this presentation. Option B puts it in the second week of October, which aligns with El Paso Public Schools, specifically El Paso Independent School District. Option C. Okay, this one took 2 days from the normal Thanksgiving break. So Thanksgiving break was 3 days was offered. The 2 days we're giving back in April to put that break in between where there's a long road before the end of the school year. So that was where the primary difference for option C was at. Next slide. Next slide. Calendar selection was offered to staff, parents, and guardians, as well as students. The form was open from Wednesday, January 14th through Friday, January 16th. Since the website launched for calendar selection on January 12th, it has received 8,402 clicks. Thank you to Mr. Carmona for getting that out there. We wanted to put that out there before the calendar vote for transparency on all 3 calendars. Next slide. These percentages reflect the calendar selection responses submitted during the open window. Option A received 36.1 of the responses, option B received 43.7, and option C received 20.1. Overall, A's percentage fell only slightly below option B, and option C reflected some interest for all groups. That increase from last year was 1,070, which we'll explain on the next slide. If you look at the top right corner, upper corner there, you see the total. So staff was 911, parents and guardians 688, and students was 1,211. This was the first year calendar survey, which was recommended by the board and Interim Superintendent Tarazona, as well as calendar selection was offered to students. I recommend to continue getting input from students as they are showing interest in participating. When reviewing the results by row group, it is important to note that among staff, the outcome between option A and very B were close. So if you look at administrators, your certified staff, classified, and then moving down to student nutrition program and support service, you can see that A and B were pretty equal throughout. For parents and guardians, option B was slightly favored, with only 55 more selecting option B compared to option A. For students, 132 more students selected option B compared to option A. Next slide. Okay, I bring this to your attention as a key consideration for option A is its alignment for DACC students. DACC's fall break as well as spring break aligns with Las Cruces Public Schools. Under option A, DACC students would share the same fall break and spring break. This affects all Alta Vista students as well as students enrolled in dual credit courses. If option A is not selected, DACC students would not have a fall break aligned with the district calendar and would continue attending classes during the district's fall break. Okay, I stand for questions, which then I conclude and recommend action to select a calendar for 2026 and 27 school year.
Thank you. Open for questions? Discussion?
President Lita, I have a comment. This is a tough one because obviously you just stated that option A, if we do not go with the option A, our Alta Vista Early College students will not get a October break at all, while the survey demonstrates that most individuals want B. I think the fact that more students participated probably made that shift. Hi.
Vice President Flores, you're correct in that. And during my presentations, my past few presentations, we do want to say that we are student focused. So we do want to do what's best for the students. And to be fair to the Alta Vista and because that is extra work for them and then they don't get a break. But of course, that's up to vote for the board.
President Lita, I believe this has happened before, and that's something that as a student from DACC, that's something that they encounter, right? It's a problem. I know it is, but the majority. I'm just thinking about what the purpose of the survey is to see what the majority want. And at this point, I'm seeing definitely, as Ms. Flores stated, option B, and it is hard. It is hard because we want the students to have that break, but the fact that it was open to a lot of people that are able to give some input, I think that that's something that we need to consider as well.
A question: how many students participate in Alta Vista that would not be getting a break?
How many? We have about 177 students at Alta Vista.
177. Okay. Thank you.
Sorry, Mr. Lita.
Yeah.
President Lita.
I think so, President Lita, I think also something to consider. I mean, I know we ask, majority roles. Yes, of course, we get that. But at the same time, something that we thrive for here at Gadsden is attendance. And so, if we are putting them in that position to not have that opportunity to get a week off, well, then we're putting them in the position to either miss a week for Gadsden, miss a week for DACC. So that also comes into play when we're considering, the differences of schedules.
President Lita, when we presented the surveys to students, did we educate the non-Alta Vista early college students of the ramifications of calendar B? Because, we do have a population that attends Alta Vista.
Vice President, Ms. Flores, we actually put that out individually to the schools, and the campuses were the ones putting it out and letting their teachers So they put it during homeroom or did it during their, which I don't think Alta Vista had an advisory. I'm not quite, I'd have to correct myself on that. So it was up to the principals to explain, or the teacher that was given the survey to explain the days to them.
So there might have been the possibility that there was not a miscommunication or no communication at all.
Vice President Flores, you're absolutely correct.
Okay.
President Lita, can we go back to where the numbers were of the survey? So even here for the parents and guardians, it was also selected for B. And that one, as parents, we are aware of that situation. You know, I definitely feel that the students need that time off, right? But as a parent that has a student in elementary and one that is in college, that's unfortunate that it happens like that, right? Sometimes we want to take breaks or not breaks, but go on vacation, and there's one kid that's off, and then the other one isn't. So that's one of the things that I think as it's part of the thinking that you have to do, right, when you engage or are part of these programs. But again, I understand for the students, they possibly didn't understand the difference or the effect that it could happen. But then the parents, it was quite an amount, right? I mean, that's
It was 55 more.
right,
Ms.
55,
Board
which
Member.
is not a great amount, but it is, you know, it is higher. And then for the staff, for them to be the certified staff, it's very, well, it's equal to 27, right?
Actually, Board Member Rodriguez, I did actually run those numbers again and got a second eye. I thought there was no way that could exactly be, but it was 227 to 227, tied.
Presidente Lira, question to Ms. Margie. So piggybacking on the earlier question, did we make sure that we educated our parents to also be aware that if they were to select B, also the ramifications of DAC students, even if they don't have DAC students?
Vice President Flores, no, we did not.
And President Lira, one of the things that I noticed, and as a matter of fact, a couple of parents brought it to my attention, that I don't know that this was one of the hottest topics. Obviously, the ones that are affected, it definitely would be. But one of the things that I kept hearing is that the Wednesdays, instead of the Wednesdays, having a Friday off. So there was a lot of variety there, right, in what it is, what the community wanted. But again, looking at the numbers here, it's not something that was made up. It's what officially came in. Hence that, at this moment, I would like to make a motion to accept calendar B.
There has been a motion to accept calendar B on item 13C by Board Secretary Rodriguez. Do I hear a second? I would like to make a second. I would like to second that motion that Ms. Rodriguez just made. Can we have a roll call, please?
Board President Lira,
Aye.
Board Vice President Flores,
No.
Board Secretary Rodriguez,
Aye.
Board Member Guerrero,
No.
Board Member Medrano,
No.
So should we get another motion for the?
Well, President Lira, I'd like to make a motion that we take option A.
Option A. There has been a motion by Ms. Priscilla Guerrero for item 13C, the school year calendar section. Do I hear a second?
Second.
There's a second by Ms. Vice President Flores. Can I have a roll call, please?
Board President Lira,
Aye.
Board Vice President Flores,
Yes.
Board Secretary Rodriguez,
Nay.
Board Member Guerrero,
Yes.
Board Member Medrano?
Yes.
The motion has passed. Motion carries. Well, for calendar A. Moving on to
Thank
to I.
you.
Thank you. Moving on to item 13D, options for the superintendent recruitment process.
Good evening, Mr. President Lida. I will go ahead and present this item. We also have our external recruitment search firm from NMSBA online via Zoom in case there's any questions. So for the options for the superintendent recruitment process, we've come down to option A and option B. Option A is going to be an internal search process. This search will be facilitated by human resources, conducted like other district vacancy postings, would be posted on the district website, open to internal candidates only. Applications would be screened by human resources. Board conducts the interview, and the board announces the selected candidate. This option is at no additional cost to the board. Next slide, please. Option B is the external search process. This would be facilitated by a professional search firm. Right now, we are working with NMSBA Superintendent Search, and Mr. Sullivan is again on the line if the board has questions. Board collaborates to establish the search parameters in the timeline. Posted externally, may also appear on the district website. Open to all qualifying candidates. Applications screened by the search firm may include community, parent, and staff input. May include public forum for finalists. Again, the board will conduct the interviews and the board announces the selected candidate. As I believe it was the last meeting or the one before, the total cost, including the trips, for any trips required to the district would be $15,000. I stand for questions.
Questions, discussion?
President Lida, so do we have the gentleman on the line?
Yeah, we should. Mr. Carmona? Mr. Sullivan, can you hear us?
I can hear you folks. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So I just wanted to make sure he was on there. So the first question, I'm not sure if it would be directed to you, Interim Superintendent Tarazona, is in the first choice for internal applicants only, in the event that a HR person who meets the qualifications to interview, if that person is planning, I mean, I'm just making this up, I don't know, I thought of this. So if an internal applicant that works at HR intends to submit an application for this position, wouldn't that be a conflict of interest? So would that individual need to recluse themselves from being involved in any type of business, if you will, having to do with this? I'm not sure how I want to say that, but does that make sense?
Yes, Ms. Flores, that would be the case. You are correct.
Okay, so they would have, the individual would have no connection, nothing, it's, you know.
They could not if somebody were to apply.
President Lida, and therefore who steps in that point? For HR, if they want.
So we could have, there's a couple of directors in HR. So we have Ms. Lupita Chavez, we have Brenda Mejia that could facilitate the process.
Okay. My next question, President Lida, would be to Mr. Sullivan. And so if we were to go with option B, you know, one of the bullets does say that the applications are screened by the search firm. So that would be based on the minimal qualifications that the board decides, correct? So that would mean that NMSBA, Mr. Sullivan, and the firm would have to adhere to the minimal or preferred qualifications that we indicate, correct?
First of all, President Lira, board members, and Ms. Salazar Flores, thanks for our opportunity to discuss this and your consideration of the proposal. That's an interesting question. We have in the past brought all packets that was submitted to boards, and there have been several that did not meet every requirement. The board wound up in a conversation with their attorney who indicated that they had those prerogatives. It is not my preferred way or recommended way to conduct the search, but you folks could appoint somebody tonight. You folks don't have to go through a search at all. You could start a search, end it, and then recruit somebody and appoint that person. So the board has a great deal of discretion, is what I think I'm trying to say.
And I do appreciate answering and that you actually, I just wanted us to also be aware that what he said, that there is actually a third choice if the board were to decide to appoint somebody. Know that that's a third option. But thank you for answering that questions.
President Lira, in terms of Tarazona, so at this point we have an MSBA, and there's other firms, but can you tell us a little bit about that? Why an MSBA is the one that's currently?
So usually we work with NMSBA or CES. We did also reach out to CES, Ms. Rodriguez. However, they referred us to NMSBA to say that they don't want to duplicate the process that NMSBA is doing, so they actually referred us to NMSBA. The other option would be looking at a national firm, which the board stated that you did not want to look at.
Thank you for that. I don't think spending that much money, I don't think would be a wise thing. As for Mr. Sullivan, you all are the ones that are leading then in the search, superintendent search here in New Mexico. Is that why the reason like CES is collaborating with you all, or how is that working?
Well, yeah, we've been working through a group of us. I'm a fairly, not a recent addition, but there have been a group of us that have been involved in this, and it's actually evolving. Dr. Kurt Steinhaus is joining our group. In fact, he has been working through CES. Maybe you recognize that name. He was Secretary of Ed, longtime superintendent in Los Alamos. But he and Dr. Gloria Rendon and I are probably the three that are most involved right now. And we have been working with the sponsorship, if you will, of the School Boards Association. I'm not sure if that completely answered your question, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
President Olivia, some more questions. Would we be discussing an open forum, like what we would want to request for the interview process, or would that be in closed doors, or even like the questions? Mr. Sullivan, if we were to go with you, would we discuss it in public? Obviously, we don't want the questions definitely is a no, because then people will have an advantage, if you will. So would the discussion of the questions that we would be asking, would that be in a closed session?
Well, there's certainly going to be questions that are developed for the board in their interview of finalists. And that should be in a conversation with a facilitator or facilitators and you based on current local needs and priorities, those things that you probably would have included in a posting as, this is what we're looking for. But yeah, that would be the starting point.
So the questions would be derived in closed session, correct?
Yeah, with AI, there's probably banks of superintendent questions that prospective candidates can even have researched and prepared for. But ideally, I would facilitate conversations with the board, make sure that we maybe massage the wording, but certainly to address the kinds of concerns that the board was most interested in. There's a list of about 10 key characteristics, nationally recognized, everything from personnel management, instructional leadership, finance, integrity, and so on and so forth. But from that list, we should be able to generate your most important. Everybody would want all of these qualities and characteristics to be exhibited, but it would be developed by you in a posting and then followed up on those topics in the development of your questions.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Sullivan, this is President Christian Lira. Quick question. On the hiring process, is there a way to actually, let's say we do an internal search, but is there a way to actually put a system where before we actually go and do an external search, we're able to do, I'm sorry, through your help, we filter maybe we have a qualified candidate that is already employed by GISD. Is there like a process that we could do where we can go ahead and vet the qualifying candidates that could maybe move to the second round that are already that can compete with the people that are coming from the external search process, if that makes sense? I guess so they could have like
Let me answer that maybe in a little bit of a roundabout way, President Lira. First of all, in developing what your criteria would be, how many years of teaching experience, how many years of campus administrative experience, those kinds of things, we would encourage any board never to write out an in-district candidate. You're a large, sophisticated district by New Mexico standards, probably one of the 6 or 8 largest districts in the state. I would be shocked if you didn't have capable candidates in-house. You may already know who some of them would be in your mind. So if we were working with you as we developed the language that would be part of your advertisement, we would want to be sure that some of those quality people in your district were not excluded. To your other question, can you do that kind of a screening first? I think that would be part of a secondary screening, or maybe the one screening that we would typically be facilitating for you. Unless you just post on your own opening board, if you post with CES, if you post with your school boards association, it is no longer internal. You will get applications from elsewhere, even out of state. We had one for, I think it was either Hatch or Deming recently that came from Wisconsin, of all places. But, so it's hard to say that you can screen, your internals in or out and then have this other pot of applicants. Our suggestion in that case, first of all, as I said, don't write out anybody inadvertently or, God forbid it, intentionally, and then have problems come up in the community. But having said that, I think that you then would be able to screen all of the applications, and you could be encouraging internal applications to submit. Whether you interviewed only internal applications would depend upon the quality of everybody else's application, I guess. I hope that wasn't too roundabout, sir, and I apologize if I'm taking up more time than you expected.
And you, I appreciate for that, and you did subsequently answer half of my second question that I was going to ask. Since this is my first time dealing with a hiring process for a superintendent, what is your process to actually do a broader search then for a superintendent? I mean, does the NMSBA have Indeed where you put it out for hire, or how does that work?
If you wanted to really ensure that people on a national level with credentials see your ad, it costs about $600 or $700 to run one in AASA, print journal, but of course online, American Association of School Administrators. We have gotten responses to that. You have someplace you have to post meetings like this. I don't know, is it the Las Cruces Sun? we have not seen much interest from postings in the Albuquerque Journal. Would you want to post in the El Paso Times, the Las Cruces Sun, or save your money on print and just use those freebies like Coalition of Educational Leaders, School Boards Association, New Mexico REAP, and so forth?
And with your expertise, do you see any trends right now? What way are the districts going, or is it just maybe on a case by case, either the internal search or the external search? And let's say we would go with the internal search, and we cannot lock in a candidate that is from the district. I mean, we would just have to start the process for an external search.
Sir, again, I'm not trolling for business here, but if you're thinking that you haven't decided whether to go external yet, then I would sit down with your personnel director, your interim superintendent, and certainly at least one other board member, and figure out whether you can agree on a handful of those to invite and interview internally, and don't go through this. I don't mean to be rude, but I'm trying to wrestle with what internal versus opening it up is going to mean for you.
Yeah, no, and you're not. You're not rude at all. Thank you.
President Lita, I think that one of the things that, of course, I wasn't part of the last time, but as a parent, one of the things that I did keep hearing was that they would like it to be open to everyone instead of just having, so this was the feeling back then, right? And I'm going to be very transparent. People were thinking that the hat was just being passed on. And so I think that leaving it open to other candidates, and of course, I think Ms. Flores had mentioned last time, like finding the best fit. If you have a pool of different candidates, and whoever it really meets all the expectations or meets the criteria that we're looking for, that's who we're going to go with, right? And it not necessarily has to be someone that is already part of the district. It could be, that would be great, but at least we're giving the opportunity. And I think for transparency, I think that the families, that's something that they would like to see. I think, I wouldn't think that the feeling has changed of what it is that I have heard that, not so often, but I have heard it currently. And so, just allowing whoever applies and go from there and do the whole process of the hiring, and we'll be able to see who meets that.
And I guess this question is for Mr. Sullivan as well. This is President Lita. On the criterias, that's where we're able to go ahead and incorporate the community forum.
I was listening carefully that you got 8,000 clicks on your calendar, so you've got a good internal communication system. What we could do, as opposed to a forum in advance of creating your promotional materials and your criteria, is a quick survey, using your type of thing, like the pie chart, and identifying, certain things that they would want you to be focusing on. We could do that. My suggestion, sir, and members of the board, and this is from experience, again, acknowledging the size and I suspect composition of your district, you would want to use advisory committees in some fashion, whether it's a combination of staff, parents, and community leaders, or separate advisory groups representative of those different categories. But and that would also be another way for you to certainly get community involvement and input. I think that may have been outlined in in our proposal. But back to your in district versus out of district folks, you could find yourself very easily with a 20 applicant pool, and your 3 to 5 were the best in that 20 applicant pool, and those are the ones you then bring in for formal interviews.
Thank you, Mr. Sullivan. Any more questions?
not, well, more of a comment. So I'm going to suggest to us all that because our district is a large district, and like we said earlier, we are a shining star. So our kids deserve the best. And so when you're interviewing candidates, their personality is going to come out. Also, the ability to answer questions is going to come out. Sometimes I think about it and I'm thinking, okay, are they putting on a show for us? Yes and no. So, so with that in mind, I think, I mean, whether we decide to go internally, externally, I just want to throw out there that I think that whoever decides to apply for this superintendent job, what I'm proposing is that we have 4 stations for them. So one of the stations I'm proposing is obviously the interview with the board. That would be one. The second one would be with the advisory committee, because like Secretary Rodriguez mentioned, the public does want to, a representation of the public, of all stakeholders, do want to be able to give input. And so I would say that, another station would be an interview with the advisory board. Public, you also need to know that, yes, the advisory board can make their recommendation, but at the end of the day, the board has 100% say of who they choose. The third one would be, I would strongly encourage a written response from the candidate, either through a scenario, so that we can see how quick they are on their feet, gives us the ability to see their writing style. My thoughts are, yes, have them come to the interview with their laptop, and some might say, oh, but you're going to give them the opportunity to have access to the internet, and they can look up AI. AI writes it for them. You know what? Yes, the candidate could go into AI and research it, and bang, he or she gets the answer. However, for this type of job, you have to be resourceful. You have to be smart. You've got to know your codes. You got to know certain things, so that it's, it's going to put them on the spot, to come up with the response. So I would propose a written response. And I definitely, because we are a large district, some of us have made the comment, I would definitely recommend that these candidates be willing to do an open forum, a forum where the community is similar. I actually sat, when you were a parent, Ms. Rodriguez, I was actually on the hiring committee of the previous superintendent. And so I really did think that was, Ms. Marquez hosted it at Gadsden Elementary. So I thought that was a wonderful opportunity for the public to ask questions of the candidates, because it'll give us also a feel of how they engage with the community and how they respond to questions from our stakeholders. So I just wanted to throw that out there. Thank you.
So, President Lita, I guess looking at the action item at this moment, we need to make the decision on the options, which would be, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm thinking whether we want it to be board conducted or we want it to be externally facilitated. And at this point, from what I'm gathering is that if it's externally, it would be with NMSBA, since they're the ones that are currently doing this along, they, as Mr. Sullivan had previously mentioned. So is that where we're, at this point, we just need to make the decision of, again, if it's board conducted or if it's externally facilitated?
Board Secretary Rodriguez, yes, I believe so. Right now, we have to decide and make a decision if we're going to go ahead and be an internal search, or we're going to use an MSBA for the external search process.
And Secretary Rodriguez, just to clarify, if we go with option A, if you decide to go with option A, that is conducted, the initial steps are conducted by human resources, the internal. So basically, you're between the internal. Of course, the board always decides in either way, but are we going to do the internal with human resources or the external search through NMSBA? So just so that it's clear.
President Lita, I wanted to ask all of you, how do you feel if we were to go internally, obviously, I believe from Secretary Rodriguez, I think you want to go externally. Is that correct or not?
Well, I was just looking at both angles, right? And I think that from previous, the previous time that you all did this, I know that I wasn't aware that it was CES last time, but I think the flow was very good. They had a timeline, and what was presented to us last time of the proposal to conduct the search through NMSBA, I think that a lot of the points that you brought up, the 1, 2, 3, 4, they are part of something that they already have in writing. So I think that I just feel that should we go externally, it would be a benefit because they would be leading this. At the end, we have the say, but we get more, it's more precise on getting all that information out and conducting it in a manner where the community knows that this is, we have been following and there's certain things that have been done.
Okay, so so if we were to go strictly internally, I understand that HR would be taking care of the process, and we as a board would have a lot of work to do, correct? So that's I guess
You would have to select the candidates for the finalists, and then you would have to conduct the interview.
and so if we go the other route, option B, the firm would take care of all of that work for us.
So HR will take care of the posting, the screening, giving you the qualified candidates. You would have to look at those applications, decide who your finalists are, and conduct the interview. It is simpler because it would be an internal process, but the work would fall on the board.
And okay, so that's clarified, and I just want us to, for me, I am thinking that probably option B is the better option because we all work, and it can be difficult getting together and scheduling. So, for me, option B would be the better option. I'm just wondering what other folks are thinking.
So you will, Ms. Flores, have to schedule additional board meetings, work sessions, and closed session meetings to work on the external search process.
So it's still going to require work, but the legwork,
Yes.
it's going to be less.
It's going to require work either way.
Yes, yes.
I tend to favor option B. We need help, and we'll have the final decision, but all the help we can get will be greatly appreciated. We might have other people that are out there that are not part of the district that are qualified and that we might like, or we just might go with some internal. But I think we need the help right now to get the best that there is out there. Option B would be the way I would go.
President Lira. So at this moment, I would like to make a motion that we, for action item 12D, on the option going externally facilitated.
13D.
I'm sorry.
Ms.
13D.
Thank you. Board Secretary Rodriguez has made a motion on action item 13D to go with the external search process with NMSBA. Can we have a roll call, please?
Board President Lira,
Aye.
Board Vice President Flores,
Yes.
Board Secretary Rodriguez,
Aye.
Board Member Guerrero,
Aye.
Board Member Medrano,
Aye.
Thank you. Motion carries. So moving on to action item 13E, GISD committee assignment, board member review, and possible assignments. Mr. Sullivan, thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you for your confidence. I appreciate it. And just to tease Member Salazar Flores, I think she likes a nasty writing prompt to challenge a candidate. But folks, we do need to look at an opportunity for us to come down and visit with you to maybe get that ball started. We certainly like to do it when you don't have to call special meetings, but I think your next regular meeting is the first night of the school board conference in Santa Fe. So perhaps President Lira or whomever you want to designate and I can visit to see if we can come up with a date to come to your district and get things moving.
Sure thing, Mr. Solomon. Let's work on a date, and we're eager to start. I guess one last question. This is for my knowledge. How long does the process take? From your experience, from the day that you've been picked to the appointment of a new superintendent? Is it like 6 weeks,
It'd
3
be every
months?
bit of 8 weeks and possibly longer. And the reason I say that is that the posting itself is always going to be for 30 days. And then time to review applications, get them sorted for you folks to screen, and then leave a break between when you've identified those that you want to officially interview, give them the opportunity to make that schedule from wherever they might be coming from.
Mr. Sullivan,
So
thank you.
It's tough to see it in less than 8 weeks, sir, is what I'm telling you. And of course, it's driven by how quickly we meet with you folks, determine the promotional materials and advertising criteria, and get that posted.
Great information, Mr. Sullivan. Once again, thank you. We'll see you soon.
You bet. Thank you all very much. Have a good evening.
Now we are on action item E, the GISD. We are blank on our screens, Mr. Carmona.
Yeah.
Are we here?
So, Mr. Lira, for this item, just want to point out that all of GISD school board members are finance budget committee members. Currently, we have in the audit committee, Ms. Rodriguez, and we have a vacancy. In the DACC committee, we have Mr. Lira and a vacancy. In the Equity Council committee, we have Ms. Laura Flores Salazar and a vacancy. And the Student Health Advisory Council, we have Ms. Rodriguez and a vacancy.
Just 1 second.
Oh, thank you.
For the people that are online, we are having technical difficulties. We're going to be right back. Thank you. Now we are back. Ms. Tarazona, can we go ahead and continue with item E, committee assignments?
Yes, so Mr. Lira, the Finance Budget Committee, all Gadsden ISD's members attend those meetings, so we don't have to select any candidates. We just received a correction that in the Audit Committee, we currently have Christian, Mr. U President Lira, and Ms. Guerrero. You are also the DACC Committee representative, Mr. Lira, so we have a vacancy there. Equity Council, we have Ms. Flores Salazar, plus a vacancy. And then Student Advisory, Health Advisory, we have Secretary Rodriguez and a vacancy.
Okay, so then we'll go one by one. On the Finance Committee, we're all there, so let's go ahead and jump into the Audit Committee.
Do we want to keep the current members in the Audit Committee, Mr. Lira, Ms. U.S. President and Ms. Guerrero?
I think if we can discuss if there's anybody else that would like to participate, or if there's anybody else that would want to take my seat or want to experience the Audit Committee. Do I hear anybody that would want to participate in that committee? Because we do have one more vacant. Is that correct?
No, we're staffed in that one.
Can you, President Lira, can you repeat who are the members for audit?
So we have, it's a correction, it's Mr. Lira and Ms. Guerrero, Vice President Flores.
Okay.
So we're actually full for the Audit Committee. We need 2 board members per committee.
So Ms. Guerrero, if I may, President Lira, you're still okay with staying on the audit committee? Sí.
President Lira, Vice President. Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
What about you, Mr. Lira? Would you like to step down or do you want to continue?
If I think that if you would like to go ahead and be a part of the Audit Committee, I wouldn't mind.
Okay.
Or anybody else. But if there's no one else, I'll stay.
Okay. So I just want a clarification. I'll go ahead, if you want to step down, I'll go ahead and volunteer myself to serve on the Audit Committee.
Okay, so then I'm actually gonna go ahead and let me read this thing that I have to read, and then I can go ahead and nominate. So in accordance to the state law, no, I don't have to read that anymore. So for the Audit Committee, I hear that Ms. Lara would like to go ahead and replace me. Thank you for that. So are there any other nominations? No. So for the Audit Committee, we're gonna go ahead and keep Ms. Priscilla Guerrero and Ms. Laura Salazar Flores. Do we have to vote or no?
I don't
At the end of all of them? Okay, so then we already have the Audit Committee. For the DACC Committee, it's myself and it was President Flores before, and it's been myself for and what are Ms. Murillo, or who was it before? Ms. Murillo. So do I have anybody that would want to go ahead and be in the DACC Committee?
I would.
You would like to? Would you like to go ahead and take my seat and then leave the other one vacant, or?
If
What?
President Lira, may, that's awesome that you're volunteering. And if you would like to step down, I know because being a president has a lot of responsibility. And
Responsibilities.
yeah, I get it. So I totally get you where you're coming from. So with that being said, I wouldn't mind being part of the DACC committee. I really do enjoy it. And then it also facilitates me, since I work in Las Cruces, meetings are in DACC. So it doesn't take me a long, very much time to commute and get there.
Board Vice President Flores, thank you for that and for your commitment. So at this time, I would like to go ahead and step down from the DACC committee, and it would be Ms. Flores and Board Member Medrano for the DACC meeting. Moving on to the Equity Council Committee. Right now, we have Board Member, Vice President Laura Salazar Flores, and we have a vacant one. Do I have anyone that would like to go ahead and volunteer Or do we have any nominations for that?
President Lira, I would like to join the equity.
Well, Ms. Rodriguez, thank you for nominating yourself for the Equity Council Committee.
President Lira, I actually would like to step down because I am taking now these two other committees, and I just want to be transparent with the public. It's kind of been difficult attending in person. I think somebody who can attend in person would be better. I really have enjoyed my time in the Equity Council. However, it is a challenge to get there because I work for Las Cruces Public Schools, and while my principal has allowed me to join virtually, I don't think it's, you don't get the same, I want to participate and I'm just there watching, so it's not the same. And so I do want to open that up for another person who would be interested in being fully engaged 100%. Because sometimes, so I will dearly miss it.
And I want to thank you, Ms. Flores, because you have been attending our Equity Council for the last 4 years. So I really want to thank you for your support. And
Yes, and I to be transparent with the public, these last board meetings, these last Equity Council, I haven't been in attendance because it never fails. I'm either testing or behavior, and it's time for me to step down regarding that. It gives somebody else the opportunity that can fully engage.
Interim Superintendent Tarazona, can you give us the dates so the board can understand what does it entail and
so the
when are the
Equity
meetings?
Council
How
meeting
often?
meets once a month. It's usually on a Tuesday, and it's at 9:30 at all of our community centers. So we rotate from North Valley to Chaparral, to Santa Teresa, to Gadsden High. We rotate. It's every Tuesday morning. It is once a month. It lasts about an hour and a half, but usually Equity Council is actually fun. Usually takes longer than an hour and a half. So it would block out one Tuesday morning out of your time.
I accept.
I nominated Ms. Medrano with my eyes. I'm like, you need that. You need the exposure to the Equity Council, Ms. Medrano. Well, thank you for volunteering. You're gonna be of a great asset in the Equity Council Committee. So now we're gonna go ahead and have a board member Corina Medrano and Board Member Claudia Rodriguez, Board Secretary Claudia Rodriguez for the Equity Council. Moving on to the Student Health Advisory Council. Right now we do have Board Secretary Claudia Rodriguez, and we do have a vacant.
President Lira. So I know that Ms. Flores said about the equity to participate, be fully there. It is difficult, we all have jobs and it's hard. And at this point, I do feel that I've been part of the Student Health Advisory for quite some time, and it's great. But at this, I don't see anyone that. Well, anyway, I do want to step down on that one. If someone wants to join it, that would be wonderful.
President Lira. With Secretary stepping down out, I would like to step up for the Student Health Advisory Council.
Can I have when are the meetings for that? How often
I would
do you
have
guys
to get you those, Mr. Lira. I do not have those dates in record.
quarterly. Oh, okay.
It's the quarter, I believe it's 4 times a year,
Okay,
kind of
then-
like the audit meeting.
Then I would like to nominate myself for the Student Health Advisory Council. Can you, Ms. Delgado, can you go ahead and tell us how?
So before we proceed, Mr. Lira, do you want to go over the nominations just to make sure we're?
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
so for the audit committee, we have
Doctor.
Priscilla Guerrero and Vice President Laura Flores Salazar. DACC committee, Vice President Salazar Flores and Corina Medrano. Equity Council, Claudia Rodriguez, Corina Medrano. Student Health Advisory, Priscilla Guerrero and Cristian Lira. And then all of the board members will participate in the Finance Budget Committee.
Thank you. That sounds about right. Could we have a roll call, Ms. Delgado?
Board President Lira,
Aye.
Board Vice President Flores,
Aye.
Board Secretary Rodriguez,
Aye.
Board Member Guerrero,
Aye.
Board Member Medrano,
Aye.
Thank you. Motion carries. Now moving on to discussion items. 14, item 14, discussion items. Item A, proposed utilization of Loma Linda Elementary for the 26-27 school year.
President Lira, Mrs. Cadena, and Ms. Hernandez will present this item.
Good evening, President Lira, board members, Interim Superintendent Tarazona. So the public knows, last board meeting, you approved as an action item the approval to consolidate Loma Linda down to Anthony Elementary. So now we have to find what we're going to do with that campus. Option number one is relocating Anthony Pre-K to Loma Linda for the 26-27 school year. It'll require very few modifications to the facility. There's ample parking, there's already established parent drop-off and pickup. It would be a lot less drop-off pickup traffic than it is now. The playground equipment, right now, it's 5 to 12-year-olds, so we would have to install 3 to 5-year-old playground equipment. It'll eliminate the need to construct Anthony Pre-K, which it needs to be replaced. And it will show up on our facility master plan when you see that presentation. So if we move it to Loma Linda, it'll save us about $3 million, because that's what we paid for, like, Riverside Pre-K. Riverside Pre-K cost about $12 million to construct, and our share was about $2.8 million. PSFA paid for the rest. Current Anthony Pre-K is aged beyond its useful life, and we can demolish it at no cost to us because PSFA at the moment has plenty of money for demolition. Also, you won't occupy that campus entirely with Pre-K. You'll have plenty of rooms for meeting rooms, training rooms. We always struggle to find places to hold trainings, so we would have probably half of the campus available for that. Option number two is relocate Alta Vista to Loma Linda for the 27-28 school year. And I say 27-28 because it'll require building modifications. For sure, we will need to build science labs, and those science labs have to meet the specifications of NMSU DACC, so that it will not be ready for the 26-27 school year. Also, it will not easily allow sharing of the Alta Vista services with DPA. Additional staff would be needed. It will still allow some space for rooms to be used for training and conference centers, because Alta Vista is only 177 students. The current Alta Vista portables, one of the recommendations that the facility master plan people are gonna make is to demolish those portables. I don't think they're in that bad of a shape, but again, they might recommend demolishing them, but we could still use them for, again, meeting rooms or expanding some of DPA's classes if we put some more money into them. Option number three, this was something that was brought up to CMT by Ms. Rosie Villalobos. One of the local food banks, I believe it's Roadrunner Food Bank, is looking for a facility in our district to put in a food bank store, where it wouldn't be a food bank drive, but rather a store where people could come in and actually do shopping through the rooms as a food bank. And then option number four, leave the facility vacant until further notice, or consider sale of the property. As you know, vacant, empty buildings attract vagrancy and vandalism. It would still require us to maintain that facility on the grounds. And it's really in good shape, and I would, hate to see it be left vacant. But of course, it's the board's decision, and again, you can opt to sell it or donate it, or whatever you would like to do. So I stand for questions, and Ms. Hernandez stands for questions.
Questions?
President Lira, if I may. My first question would be, if we don't, it's not the will of the board to turn Loma Linda into the pre-K, I know that we'd be saving ourselves $3 million, so that means that that's how much it would cost to
Yes, ma'am.
build a pre-K center.
Yes, ma'am, that would be our match. Yeah, possibly more if construction costs continue to go up. But the only thing that worries me is you can probably build the new Anthony Pre-K in the field. They call it the Rotary Field that's right next door. But they currently use that field for their parent drop-off and pickup. So we would have to find an alternate location temporarily while it's built, because it would just not work with a construction site there.
Okay, so with that, you actually answered another question of mine, is if we don't go this route, where were we planning on building the pre-K? So like you said, possibility with the understanding that the field is already being used.
Yes.
So have you ever considered building the pre-K behind Loma Linda? Because I'm just curious how much acreage we have
There
behind
is a
Loma
lot
Linda.
there. Yes,
And
ma'am.
would it be sufficient to hold parking and a pre-K center?
Possibly without having actually have an architect look at it and place the square footage of the building and orient it. Also looking at the streets, because it is behind Donaldson. And there's another street, I believe, that's residential on that other side. We could consider it. It's possible. I'm not sure. I don't remember how many acres it is off the top of my head, but I can provide that information for the board.
Yes, please, and just to make sure that we would have sufficient acreage, should that be a possibility?
Yes,
And and since I used to work there, I think that back street, that just a suggestion, that could be probably you call it an inlet?
An
into
inlet,
into the building.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So if we were to go with option 2, to move Alta Vista there, do you have actual numbers of the additional staff that would be required and the cost for fringe benefits salary, which would affect the operational?
President Lira, members of the board, Interim Superintendent Tarazona. Ms. Vice President Flores, we were looking into that. I had spoken to Ms. Bayan and Ms. Gensler. Currently, we're sharing the CT pathway and the science pathway with both people. So we would probably need 3 teachers to accommodate that campus with some of the pathways. Like the Spanish, they share that teacher. They share one of the science teachers, the yearbook teacher. So the elective pieces, I wouldn't be able to tell you exactly, because right now she's in the middle of recruiting, so the number would depend on what's happening. The only challenge that we're also facing would be having to do the 2 labs. They need the chemistry and the physics lab. And I don't know how the board will feel about high schoolers driving through the residential areas, right? And so that's another issue, because our seniors and our juniors that are driving, that's also a big piece for us. So that would be the only piece. And I think the only thing that Ms. Cadena stated, it wouldn't be for next year, it would be for the following year, because we'd have to do some upgrades to that campus. Modification.
I would request that since this is a discussion item, right? If we can get a cost of the labs that would be installed, please, for the future. And then, and the teachers, because I was about to say, I guess based on a presentation, I think that Ms. Estrella Burciaga had given, I was going to throw out maybe like $300,000,
That would be-
$100,000 per teacher.
Yes, Vice President, that's exactly about the cost. If you're talking about 84,000 plus the benefits, 102,000, something like that. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then my last question would be the food bank, just the idea, since, Ms. Cadena is stating that the portables are still in good condition, also have taught there, I think that would be a sufficient space to put the portables. So, okay.
That's a great
That
recommendation.
concludes my question. Thank you.
If I may, Ms. Vice President Flores, just to let you know, though, if relocating those portables, you probably be better off building something. Right now, relocating a portable, because of the codes and moving it and everything, all the preparations we have to do to structurally support those portables, it's costing us about $100,000 a portable.
And I think I was misunderstood. I didn't mean to move them, to
Oh,
keep
use
them
them there
there
at that
and
site.
use
Oh, okay.
and provide the food shelter.
Right in the location they're at.
Yes,
Oh,
and
okay, I
let them
apologize.
access to the portables so that
Okay.
they could have their food.
Oh, I thought you meant move them also to the
No,
empty. Okay.
no, because I know how expensive that is, because Rick Littlework lives in my community
yeah.
and it's expensive, yes.
Yes, thank you.
A quick question. What are you guys inclined to doing with it? What would it be more beneficial for the district in your
In our
you that you're exposed to the needs of the
Well,
community?
In talking to CMT and to the community and the complaints we've had about the traffic at Loma Linda, just with all the parent drop-off and pickup, because Donaldson is, it's not really constructed for that. And actually, the city of Anthony has called it to our attention many times. We've switched directions on the parent drop-off to make it more amenable. And we're thinking with less traffic, less, with the pre-K students, it's less congestion, and at the same time, it benefits us because we give them a newer facility, a better facility. They have more room to play. There's huge playgrounds, a huge playground, and the classrooms are bigger. They have the fields. The classrooms are bigger. I don't know if you've ever been to the Anthony Pre-K, but it's very old-fashioned. They all have doors to the outside. So it's like U-shaped, and the doors come straight out of the classroom to the outside. So, I mean, it would be safer, too.
Would we be able to add the pre-K, and since there is space, maybe put some money in it so you guys could have like a facility where for the meetings and training room, kind of like do like not pour a lot of money, but a design that is kind of like a flex space, like here. I mean, you come here and it's functional, so we can kind of like modify it a little bit if we're able to find a budget. And now you have like our training facility
At Loma Linda?
at Loma, yeah.
Yes, sir. You could possibly do that. I mean, you have to remember that right now the pre-K doesn't have this huge multi-purpose room, which is like this.
Yeah.
And they would. And you could also have trainings there because they wouldn't be using it all the time. But you could certainly knock down some walls and join 2 or 3 classrooms to make a bigger
bigger
conference
puzzle.
room. Yes, sir.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
That's it.
President Lita, if I may ask. I've learned
Yes.
to not say it's my last one. I didn't say it was my last one. So it's my understanding that you all are proposing pre-K because there'll be less traffic. So does that mean that most of our pre-K students are being bused?
No, ma'am, it's just less students that Loma Linda has now. It's not as many students. So, I mean, it would still be a lot of parent drop-off pickup, but it's not as much as Loma Linda is now. The congestion's pretty bad. I think, Ms. Guerrero, you've seen it, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
So I would respectfully counter whatever your argument, because I'm thinking that, I mean, definitely I agree that the pre-K traffic would be way less than Loma Linda. And, the traffic that the high schoolers would create, I'm going to say it's going to be less because you're not going to have parents dropping off high schoolers as much as pre-Ks. And I think we also need to have a positive mindset that our high schoolers are responsible drivers. And so, of course, we would also have to take into consideration that, just like in Chaparral High School, and I know the community of Alta Vista has also reached out saying, hey, there's individuals that are parking because they don't have insurance, so that probably we can anticipate that, but in helping our students. So like at this point, I mean, I appreciate your feedback, and I'm like, I'm not sure where to go, but thank you so much, ladies.
You're very welcome.
Thank you. Moving on to for item 14B, climate survey special education update.
Ms. Rodriguez will present this item. President Lita.
President Lita, members of the board, Interim Superintendent Ms. Tarazona, we just wanted to present, we've been talking a lot about the climate survey. We wanted to go ahead and present some of the questions that we're looking at in sharing. Remember, we were looking at a two-phase process. The first phase was just to kind of get an idea of what's going on out there, how we can better support our campuses, our staff, and then based on the results of the first survey, we would kind of narrow it down to figure out where we need to focus. So we wanted to share some of the questions with you all. Again, the audience, it's going to be our campus administrators, special education teachers, general ed teachers, special education instructional assistants, and special education staff. The purpose, again, just to gather more information. I'm trying to see which one I can focus a little better on because I'm having a hard time seeing this evening. The survey is going to be anonymous. We've reached out to Mr. Carmona and Mr. Snowdy to, we've given them the questions and they're going to be able to help us with sending that out, and they'll receive the responses and share that with us. Next slide, please. So this is what it's going to look like. Just describe your role. Are you a campus administrator, special education teacher, gen ed teacher, instructional assistant, or other? And then that part will be a fill-in if they're, for example, a speech language pathologist, if they're one of our ancillary staff or evaluation staff. Next slide, please. So some of the questions that are in a linear scale from strongly agree to strongly disagree, these are some of the questions. I feel respected in my role within the special education system. Collaboration between special education and general education staff members is encouraged and supported. Morale within special education on my campus is generally positive. Campus administration understands special education. IEP processes are clearly defined and consistently followed by on my campus. I receive adequate guidance to meet the needs of students receiving special education services. Your school monitors IEP implementation effectively. Next slide, please. IEP expectations are clearly communicated to me. Students receive special education academic services aligned with their documented needs. Related services are scheduled and delivered consistently. I have access to the appropriate materials and supports. Professional development is relevant and practical to support my students' special education needs. Training helps me understand compliance responsibilities. Communication from the special education department is effective. Students are placed in the correct setting according to their individual needs. Supports for students are adjusted when students are not making progress. Next slide, please. Some of the open-ended questions on the survey: what is working well in the special education department? What are the biggest challenges impacting special education services? What supports would most improve your ability to serve students effectively? What barriers exist to high-quality service delivery? And any additional comments, concerns, or suggestions? Next slide, please. And I stand for questions.
Questions?
I just wanted to note, President Lira, that we will be sending out this survey no later than Monday or Tuesday of next week. And we're working with Mr. Snowdy and Mr. Carmona to gather all the feedback, and then we will present it to the special education department.
Thank you.
I have a question, President Lira. You did mention that I didn't see, well, it stated staff on the audience, and then you did mention that it would include like the PTs, OTs, and all
Yes,
of,
ma'am.
okay. And are they being informed that this is coming up so that they're aware, or is it just once it's sent out?
We shared the information as a leadership team, and our directors have been sharing that with their groups. And then we shared that also at the principals meeting. So principals have been informed that this is coming out as well.
Excellent. And I think, oh yes, the other one was, on the questions you have the ones that would be just agree or strongly agree. Those, will you be giving opportunity if should they want to make a comment, or it's only going to be on the open-ended questions?
The ability to answer the open-ended questions, that's why we've got at the very bottom, if there's any other information, suggestions, comments, and there's no limit on the information on those questions, on the open-ended.
So at the end, they could possibly comment whatever, if they had a question on, or wanted to comment on
Yes,
the
ma'am.
strongly agree, or just agree,
Yes, ma'am.
then they could do that. Okay, thank you.
President Lira, I know we're going to have this out Monday or Tuesday. What's the timeline that we're looking to give staff to be able to answer these questions? And then,
By Friday, we're hoping it closes. So we're going to send it out Monday or Tuesday, kind of like what we did with calendar committee, 3 to 4 days, but in this case, it'll be 4 to 5 days.
I know we had previously discussed in the previous meeting, we were going to try to give them the opportunity to have it over a weekend, just because during the week, sometimes we don't want to spend the time to look at our phone or the frustration, but maybe if we had the weekend opportunity for them to have that downtime to be able to do that, if we could provide
That
that
could be taken-
timeline for them as well.
That could be taken into consideration.
Yeah, Ms. Guerrero, I believe we talked about a weekend, having a weekend. So if we, depending on the day that it goes out, we will make sure they have at least 7, 8 days with the weekend. Just sometimes you want to answer that survey from the comfort of your home when you have time, not while you're teaching your class or trying to prep. So yes, definitely we can do that.
And I'm glad that you added questions there at the end, because sometimes these surveys just give you that short one, and there's a lot more that you'd like to say, constructive criticism,
Yes, ma'am.
and that allows room for it. Thank you.
Of course.
Thank you, Ms.
President
Rodriguez.
Lira.
Any other questions?
President Lira. So just my question would be, I understand that this is just strictly for employees, right? And
Yes.
in the previous presentation, I had recommended, and I know that you agreed that we would be doing a parent one.
So
I guess my question would be, so in the future, when you do the parent one, then on the what best describes your role, then it would be more appropriate to maybe put, I don't know if this is even appropriate, like campus administrator, but I'm a parent of a kid with IEP.
Well,
Do you understand what I'm saying?
with that, really what we're wanting to do with that one, and I'm glad you brought that up, Vice President Flores, one of the things that I'm getting ready to launch is I want to have a parent advisory group. So 2 of our parents, they don't know they're my co-chairs, but they're my co-chairs. They're here tonight. I'm hoping they're listening back there. But one of the things that I would like to do, especially with my parent advisory group, is they kind of guide the questions on the survey to the parents, because that way they could give us the input, like, okay, we need to ask these kinds of questions. We could even say, you're a parent and an employee of the district, so that way we can see, are they parents, or are they parents and employees of the district? So that way we can kind of differentiate that.
Okay, because I mean, if I was an employee of Gadsden, I would definitely have children, receiving special education service. So I guess when our employees take this, it's just with the mindset, okay, I'm an employee, my opportunity to give my opinion as a parent will come later.
Yes.
Okay,
The
thank you.
questions are going to be very different for our parent group. They're going to be very different because it's right now for the campuses, we want to know how we need to support our campuses. But with our parents, I want it to be more like, okay, are your children receiving the adequate services? How is the communication on the campus? What types of training do you think our administrators or teachers, those kinds of things? It's going to be a different perspective.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
And Ms. Flores, if I may add, depending on the outcome of the survey, I think that's going to help us generate the questions even for our parents community, depending on how staff is feeling. I think that will also give us a good starting point on how to start that survey, because we'll see where our gaps or what our deficiencies are, so we can take that data and create a different survey with a different focus.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
President Lira, just another question. And then what forum are we using for this survey? Is it Google? Because I know we want to keep it anonymous. So I know when we do our surveys in Google, you have to enter your email. How are we going to be able to make sure that it does remain anonymous?
So there is a way in Google Forms to turn that feature off. Mr. Schnody did share that, when I spoke to Mr. Schnody, he was like, yeah, this is what we can do. But they're going to be sending it out and with that feature turned off.
Okay, so it'll still be a Google, okay.
Yes, ma'am. Any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
So now moving to item 14C, transition of sixth grade to middle school campuses.
President Lira, Ms. Hernandez will present this item.
President Lira, members of the board, and interim superintendent Tarazona, Ms. Tarazona. I know that we are starting to get nervous and excited about the Gadsden Middle School pattern going into the new building. 18 months are coming quick, right? If you haven't driven by Gadsden Middle School, it's a beautiful building. It's looking amazing. I don't want to jinx it, but we're gonna try and move in there as soon as possible. So I just want to give like an update of what's happening and where we're at now that we know we're closer to finishing it. Our teachers in sixth grade are starting to get antsy about like, are we moving? What's happening, right? So what changes are coming up in sixth grade is that the middle school, they will have a middle school schedule. So currently in the elementaries, they don't have periods, right? First period, second period, they don't have that. So they will have 7 class periods. They also will have different teachers with different subjects, which is also a little bit of a different move for our sixth graders. And then the periods will be a little bit shorter, and by that I mean that in the elementary, as when I was an elementary school principal, teachers tend to rob time, for math, for literacy, depending on what needs to be adjusted. So this is not gonna be allowed, obviously, because the bells will ring. And then we really wanna support them in increasing their focus on independence and responsibility. Next slide, please. So why are we moving the sixth graders to the middle school? I think we fall between the 3rd and 4th largest district in the state. Right now, I think we're 4th, because it just depends on our numbers. Every large district has sixth grade in the middle school. Our curriculum and our resources are banded 6, 7, 8. And so it's very important for us to have that coherence, because what happens, like I'll give you an example. Right now, we are adopting our math curriculum for next year. So schools, elementary schools have to look at K-5, sixth grade picks one, and then the middle school picks another one. So you see how there's no, because K-5 is the way the state usually works, or our publishers. So why? Because it makes sense. It's interesting because I was both an elementary principal and a middle school principal, and it is a very weird age for them. They're not considered little kids because we tell them, act your age, act older, right? But then when they do something older, we tell them you're still a little kid, right? You're not old enough to do that. And so this is gonna give us an opportunity to support them and design this for, it's an in-between stage. The structures will support that. At the middle school level, because they have a counselor who's going to be more dedicated to that group. We've incorporated into our schedule like the SEL curriculum and things that will support them. It's also a smoother transition, not just a jump. So our goal, if you recall, when we were first proposing this, we wanted to have the middle school academy, the STEM academy, right? And so we want to make sure that the middle schoolers are in their own area. That doesn't mean they're gonna be in their area for like the electives, because they do ride the bus, for example, to the high school for high school sports already, the 7th and 8th graders. So what we wanna do is just make sure that they practice skills that they're gonna need later. So in their own little cohort of sixth graders, they'll move between their classes, they'll manage, they'll have their schedules, they'll learn to organize their materials, so that before that academic pressure increases in 7th and 8th grade, it'll be like a training year for them. Right? And so it'll be something that will support them better. It'll also prepare them stronger academically. So they're gonna have exposure to the content area teachers, and so they'll have more of a grasp of how to handle 7th and 8th grade. And then instruction will be aligned to the secondary standards and the expectations, which I was just mentioning. The 6th grade band is 6th, 7th, 8th, right? And so now that coherence will be with that group. The other thing is that it'll also help us to better prepare them for the advanced coursework in 7th and 8th grade. So really what it's doing is that extra year is providing opportunity to take some coursework that they wouldn't have to take in 7th and 8th grade, and have a bit more electives for the STEM pieces that we're trying to incorporate. Next slide, please. So then again, built-in supports for early adolescents. Because they do have class periods, we are able to give them an advisory or a homeroom period. So they will always have that group for them. That's where we provide information, give them announcements, things like that. Also, they'll have the counseling and social emotional supports. Currently, the middle schools are also supported by our mental health therapists. And so they'll have more opportunity for those pieces just because of the transition age, right? I used to always say in Spanish, se hacen o se deshacen if we don't support them, right? And so it's a critical age for them at this piece. And then team structures that are monitor student progress closely, which is something that our district always does, and our teachers are amazing at this. And then also the smart use of electives and PE. What we have done in this middle school setting is PE will be provided in 6th grade, so now 7th grade won't have it. Does that make sense? So that they'll be able to have more opportunity to take other coursework. So part of that is that it'll provide PE, and then we'll do the exploratory experiences in 6th grade. So again, they're not taking up their time in 7th and 8th grade. It'll build healthy habits. It'll free up more electives in the 7th and 8th grade, so they'll have more choice. And it'll also allow students to explore interests before making long-term commitments, right? One of the issues we have, like in our high schools, is when we have CTE pathways, what counts is completers. So we don't want a kid trying something and they don't like it, and once they drop it, they're not a completer. They have to have the consecutive years. And so if we allow these exploratory coursework in the middle school, they'll be able to be like, oh, I'm not really gonna do that, right? So that's part of it. Next slide, please. So I just wanted to give you an update like on the required coursework. You know, we have amazing staff. This is our counselors and our administrators who are doing scheduling. It's not as easy as it seems. As you can see, English 6th grade, 262 students will fit into one of these English classes, right? So something that I think this board will appreciate is that we are going to incorporate gifted classes, labeled gifted classes, which we have not had really in the past, right? And so we have that, and we'll have some accelerated coursework as well. The 21 and the 22 is what identifies our special education groups, our inclusion group, or our ASC group, okay? So this is required from the PED, and this is what takes up most of our day. So 7 periods, you're gonna have to do English, math, integrated science, social studies, PE. And then we've started, because we do want it to start being a STEM academy, but again, like you heard Dr. Acosta say, we do have students who are gifted in the arts. Our kids want to take band, which is an opportunity 6th grade will have, so that'll build out our band programs this now, because we can't do that in the elementaries right now. So they'll have band, general computer apps, Spanish language arts. Just a reminder, we are a dual language middle school, so we do have that strand as well. And then career exploration is the first semester, and this is the area where we can see if they want to follow a pathway. And then the leadership class has a lot to do with building their character and their, in fact, one of the counselors had told me, it's gonna be a really neat curriculum. They've already developed scales, but it's about their personal vision, their character traits, just really their organizational skills. And so we have a curriculum for that as well. Next slide, please. So Ms. Burciaga is not here this evening. She's at an HR conference, but this is something that we are working on already. I had the opportunity to meet with the 6th grade group at Anthony Elementary, who is already there with the middle schoolers. If you recall, we have 7th grade there, and then the 6th grade teachers are there. So they're very interested in incorporating into that cluster. So approximately 11 6th grade positions will not be needed at the Gadsden feeder pattern elementaries. So 11 positions won't be needed. If teachers wish to stay at their current elementary campus, the CBA procedure will be upheld, in which all positions are prioritized through seniority. So for example, and I think you may have already had questions asked, if I'm a 6th grade teacher, but I've been at this campus for 30 years, do I have to move? No, that teacher won't have to move. That teacher will just need to be reassigned to another grade level, and then as this states, the campus will be prioritized by seniority, and that's how people who are moved will be determined. Okay? It's also estimated that Gadsden Middle School will have 8 vacancies for next year. So right now, we need 8 teachers for the middle school, and then whatever we're gonna need for the 6th grade. But I just want to remind you that we're only moving 260 6th graders from the whole feeder pattern. 262, I believe, was the number. That's a little bit of students. When I was at Gadsden Middle, I think we had like 800. The positions are going to be posted for internal applicants only, and then interviews and hiring will follow GISD standard hiring practices. Next slide, please. So teaching credentials, this is something we contacted the state about. The state, if you teach in a secondary setting, you have to have an endorsement. So you could have a K-8 license, but if you're gonna teach in 7th, or in this case, 6th, 7th, or 8th grade, you have to be certified in science, in math, in social studies. And so what Ms. Burciaga had told the this sixth grade group is that the district will honor the ACP, like they'll take the coursework and then they can still work at the middle school. We do have a meeting scheduled, I'm not sure if she sent it out, for all 6th grade teachers. So we do want to speak to all 6th grade teachers. Principals are doing a great job through attrition as the teachers are leaving. The teachers will say, well, I want that spot, you know, a 3rd grade spot, a 4th grade spot. And so they know their staff more than we do. So all middle school teaching positions will require an endorsement in a subject area in addition to the teaching license. If teachers do not currently hold an endorsement, they are still eligible for hire through an alternative certification program in which they have 2 years to complete the endorsement. Okay, and then 2 meetings will be held with all interested teachers the last week in January and in early February. Dates are forthcoming, but I know we sat already, and I think next Wednesday we're going to send out an email. Next, okay, that's all I have. Any questions? Super excited.
Questions?
Just one quick question. Sorry, President Lira. Hi, this
No, they
mic.
come and go.
I'm sorry, I lost you on the amount of students. How many did you say in total?
262.
And that's the whole,
feeder,
6th, 7th, and 8th?
No,
or
no,
it's
that's
just
just
the
6th
6th grade?
graders, 6th
Oh,
graders
okay.
going.
Okay, that's why I was like.
Yeah, if I recall, I think the new building, Miss Jessica, holds over a little bit over 1,000, correct? 900 and something. It's about 900, and we're about 860 right now with everybody.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
But yeah, 262, which is still a little. Remember, that's 5 feeder. That's 5 schools. You're talking North Valley, Berino, Gadsden, Loma Linda. Well, Anthony, not Loma Linda, but and like 3 or 4 kids from La Union.
Thank you.
President Lira. So one of my questions is, those who decide to pursue their endorsements and whatever it is that they want to teach, that would be at their cost. They would have to pay, they would be responsible for paying.
Yes, at this time, that is what I'm understanding, but I will tell you this, there's a lot of teachers who have already sent in, like they didn't know they had the credentials. So they sent it into the state and they've gotten back like, oh yeah, you are certified to teach. Because remember, especially if you minor like in math, you already took the 18 hours, that's a certificate. And they didn't realize that they had.
I was gonna, for those that don't have that, that don't have those courses already, I was gonna recommend if the district could possibly look, and I've come across some scholarships that help, you know, even teachers, and so maybe we can help those who will have to pay out of pocket, looking at resources to see if we can help them. And then I don't know if the New Mexico Opportunity Scholarship helps with, because that would mean a master's degree, ¿verdad?
It would be the master's or just the hours, the certification hours. But I mean, you might as well get a master's if you're doing 18 hours, right? It's like
Yeah,
24 for the
so if there's any way that we can look for resources where our teachers can apply for scholarships, that, I mean, anything to help them.
And we do offer the bilingual, we do offer, Ms. Flores, the bilingual and the TESOL endorsement. So we still pay for those classes for the coursework. That is 12 credit hours through New Mexico State and Western University, but we can definitely look at see what else is offered.
Yes, and Vice President Flores, like to your point, it'll depend on how many people are willing to go to the middle school because not everybody, some people are scared to do it. I love being a middle school teacher and principal, right?
And so to piggyback on your comment, ma'am, you know, I would encourage teachers who are currently watching or will be watching the recording of this is that this is my opinion, okay? The best teachers for middle school are elementary teachers. Even high school teachers, and I mean no, I don't even know what I want to say to the high school teachers because they're probably getting offended at this point. And, moving to high school myself, like all the practices that I learned at the elementary level, when they walked into the classroom, they're like, this looks like an elementary classroom. And I'm like, but it's good practices is good practices. So I would encourage elementary teachers who are ready for a challenge to, think about the possibility of going to middle school. I did that at one point in my career. I also went to high school. They're not scary, They are wonderful kids, and they will respect you as long as you respect them, and they will meet up to, to the expectations as long as they can see that you care. And, I would encourage you that are elementary teachers, take a challenge, do something else, do something different. And then my other question, just to make sure. So seniority will be according to the CBA by building, but I just wanted to clarify that if somebody argues, okay, well, now I want my seniority for grade level, well, it doesn't work like that, right? That's up to the principal, correct?
Vice President Flores, you're absolutely correct.
Okay, just to make sure,
Yes,
because
you can't want the kinder class because that's the class you want. It'll be where.
Yeah, so, okay. Thank you so much.
Any other questions? No?
Thank you, Ms. Hernandez.
Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you, Ms. Hernandez. Moving on to, where's my agenda? To our last discussion item, 14D, NMSBA Excellence in Student Achievement Award.
So, Mr. Lira, we received the Excellence in Student Achievement Award, New Mexico School Board Associations. We received it on January 15th, so I wanted to bring it to your attention. It recognizes individuals or groups who have significantly improved student achievement at the district level. The eligible recipients are school board members, administrators, teachers, staff, parents, community members, or volunteers. Please note that students that are recognized through scholarship award program, not this award. So the award details, it's sponsored by NMSBA, presented by local school boards. The NMSBA provides one award per district, and additional awards cost $50. Next slide. So the selection, the local school board chooses recipient through an open nomination process. Here's our timeline. On January 15, as I said, it was sent to the district. We have until March 6th. It's the deadline to submit the recipient's name to NMSBA, and then April 3rd, the award gets mailed back. Statewide press release is issued, and between April and May, the awards are presented at the school board meetings. So I just wanted to bring that deadline is coming up, and then I'll go ahead and bring it up in another meeting for action.
Thank you. Now moving on to item 15, upcoming board member and meeting events. I urge you, board members, to look at the events that we have in the next following weeks, and make sure that you have availability, and if you could attend to any of them. Now moving on to item 16, adjourn. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
President Lira, I make a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Thank you. Ms. Rodriguez has made a motion to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All against? Thank you. This meeting has ended. Thank you, everybody.